Hello, happy Monday. Happy Monday. I should have like a different one like to start off with than like these. So, oh, I'm actually not mirrored for once. Happy Monday. It always is so weird to just kind of like start off with that high energy. Not always, but like 9 out of 10. Yeah. I have so much. I don't know. I thought about it and I didn't think about it. Let me see if I can do something really quick because yesterday, I think it was yesterday, which is, you know what? Why don't we have elections on a weekend? Why don't we have elections in the US on a weekend? Isn't that kind of odd? I find that odd. Romania had their election. It was the second time because the first time it was, I think there were two different primaries, or I don't know exactly. I don't really know. I don't really know. But yeah. Um, happy election day for Romania. uh, the better person won, in my opinion. The person that was more progressive, liberal, whatever leaning versus more conservative. Not even the other guy. I don't think he was even conservative. Just like everything is right now in the world. I don't know too much. I am going to educate myself for next time. I am not the best Romanian. I'm not the best Romanian. I'm trying to find. Oh, there we go. Canva has become kind of better and kind of worse at the same time. So, yeah. Anyways, so happy Monday. How was everyone's Monday? I'm going to check back once more people join and I'm going to ask again. But yeah, happy Monday. It was a crazy weekend. I don't think it was a great weekend for any news, really. There was a lot of news that was not great or like on the positive side. So I have actual some news stories. And then, hi, Rosewild. Welcome. Happy Monday? How's your weekend? How's your Monday? How's your Monday? how's, how's the Monday? Um, but yeah, I was with work with Dave earlier. Dave Neal's kind of Patreon side like video. Anyways, and it was he didn't have a great weekend. Didn't have a great day either today. And yeah. Hold on, sorry. That is weird. Um hmm. Sorry, I'm trying to do something special because I'm Romanian and I want to do something special, but it's not really letting me. Which I guess I kind of understand, but kind of weird. Anyways, um, mine's okay. Oh, sorry. Mine's okay. Hope your weekend went well. Hi, Maria. Hi, Maria. Yeah, my weekend was okay. Sorry, I was so prepared. I'm so prepared today, guys. I'm so prepared. Except the one important, let me show you what the one important thing is that I'm not prepared for. Oh my gosh, you'll hopefully laugh, or just not get mad at me. For anyone who's joining on the replay, hi, welcome. Sorry, it's taking a little bit long. You know what I could do technically on the replay? I could edit out the intro and waiting for people, and then also waiting for my brain to kick on. So, yeah, I could do that. I just thought of that. I literally just thought of that. But if you're joining on the replay, welcome. Um, this is a crazy. I don't know. I'm just kind of crazy. I don't know. I'm trying to multitask and just like anyone and everyone, it doesn't work very well. So, all right, cool. All right. Sorry. Oh no, wait, where did it go? What? What? What the heck? Oh no. Oh my gosh. I I made OBS just like freeze. Hi Arnaldo. Hi Angel. Welcome. Oh crap. I'm so sorry. I was trying to do something nice and I got so excited and I just kind of screwed up the whole thing. What the heck? I can't move anything. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, guys. Hold on. Let me try to do this. Oh boy. I hope. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying. You know, technology, it used to be much better. And then the more advanced we are in technology, the worse it's getting. Um, I would ask all of you guys, how's your weekend? How was your weekend? How's your Monday going? But I'm afraid that I'll get disconnected for real. And so I will ask when I am sure that it's safe. So I'm just, what was I even looking for? Oh my gosh, that is not what I was looking for. Oh my, I cannot believe this. I cannot freaking believe this. You know what Mac needs? An alt delete, control alt delete situation. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. If not, I will redo this. It should be fine. It should be fine. It should be fine. Hold on, let me see if there's anything else I can do in the meantime. Oh my goodness. So sorry. I was so prepared. I was so excited. I was so like relaxed that I was like so prepared. And here I am just showing how even when I'm prepared, I'm not prepared. All right. Okay. Wish me luck. Cross your fingers, hold your fists. In Romanian, for good luck, we hold our fists. I think it comes from like Eastern Asia. And the reason I say that is because I heard it in a Korean or Japanese show in their own way. And they were doing that. And I remember even in Sailor Moon, like when they were, well, when they were excited. But yeah, so I think it comes from there, which is an odd thing. But anyway, so wish me luck. I maybe hopefully won't get disconnected, but I might, this video might get shut down. Can you hear me? Oh my gosh, it worked. Whew. Okay, sorry, that was loud. How was your Monday? How's your Monday going, guys? How's your sun Sunday weekend, whatever? Oh my. I was so excited to be super prepared for once. But we're going to get there. There we go. Okay, that is way too big. It's way too big. I don't know where to put it. Look at that. I don't know. There we go. Yeah, little flag there. Just random. If I could flip it, it would be even better. This is the Romanian flag. For all of you, pretty much. I think only one person was here when I said that. Yesterday, Sunday, were the Romanian presidential elections, and flip horizontal or horizontal, right? There we go. And I think the good person won. But that's the Romanian flag, hence the Romanian flag today. Just yeah, because I'm Romanian, so it's going to be it's weird. I don't know. Nothing special. Good. Okay. Well, at least it was good. At least it was good. I was saying that news wise, it was not the best weekend. I was almost going to. I want to. I don't know if any of you guys do. Any of you use Discord? If you do, I'm. You might like this news. If you don't, then you might be indifferent to it. But I'm thinking of doing a Discord channel. I have one technically, but I never kind of launched it, and it wasn't, I didn't know what to associate it with. But when I started using Discord for my coaching, um yeah, the coaching thing, and then my acting class also has one sort of, you do Rose Wild, everyone else know. Okay. So for everyone else, if you don't know at all what I'm talking about, it's basically, and I can pull it up. It's a forum, um, or community, not community. Yeah, right. A forum. How would you describe it, Rose Wild? I feel like back in the day, forum. I'm sorry, I'm so loud. I feel like I'm screaming now, but a lot of times this doesn't do well. The mic just is not loud enough. um what can I show you? um okay, I can show you, I can show you this. Never heard of it. All right, so sorry, I'm like, my screen flipped. This is kind of Discord. I don't, I'll show you, like, I don't even know. I don't have anything. So you type in, you have the different channels or servers. No, this is, so it's like one server, and then each category, and then each channel. I don't know. Basically, you can have different categories or whatever. But I kind of like the idea of us community. I was thinking of Patreon. Patreon is kind of funky, but I was thinking of a place where we can kind of interact a bit more. I know, like, it's going to be YouTube, but one of the things with YouTube, and you could say the same thing about this, but it's not quite the same. YouTube, Instagram, all social media is algorithm based, and then we subscribe to so many people, and then we, get like just bogged down with notifications and everything. So this would be more for just chatting. So cuz okay, one of the things I didn't really, it's not exactly correlated, but one of the things that I would have wanted, and I thought of posting to my YouTube community tab about, cuz a lot of you, I think, I don't know a lot, but some of you are from New York City or around New York City and Brooklyn. And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you guys at the naval ship situation? Did you see it? Were you there? All that stuff, blah blah." So, yeah, because I saw it just actually a few minutes after, and then I didn't, because I was like, "Ugh, I just thought too much. I overthought about it." And then I was like, I'll just talk about it Monday. And then, yeah, it's been pretty big news. So, things like that. I don't know, just like community, not just with me, but with each other. I actually connected with someone on on Dave Neal's um, work with Dave video, and I'm so excited because I hope I can, like, I don't know, help her. I don't know, like motivation, because there's a lot of us that are just kind of struggling with pursuing our dreams or pursuing even our careers that we started or that we have. I feel like I hear so much, and I thought I was kind of the only one, but I hear so much of, yeah, it's not the same since 2020, since COVID, since, like, we all kind of just, the world whole stopped. And then we all, most of the world was just locked inside. And even if you weren't, everything else changed. Like, it's just like some changes and some change that you can't really put your finger on. But a lot of people are feeling like really tired, unmotivated, antisocial. And and then also lost, and kind of this helpless, hopeless, like, why even bother? Why even bother doing what I love? Why even bother, going for a career? Why even bother doing this or that? And so, yeah, connecting with this one person that kind of felt similar. And there was another person that felt similar. I was like, oh my gosh, like I really genuinely thought I was pretty much alone because it seems like all my friends and family and people that I have around, like in real life, and then also social media. But social media, part of you is thinking like, oh, everyone's putting their best foot forward and just faking it till they making it, maybe. But even in real life, I feel like everyone has it together. Everyone's kind of the same as before 2020. And for me, it was like 2019 was kind of like a downturn. The relationship stuff also played a huge, huge major role in my situation of being hopeless and not hopeless, but because of the relationship, but like the dream, I stopped chasing my dream. Stopped kind of I tried to become responsible, and so I think that's why I thought it's just me, but seems like not. Anyway, so things like that. It can be because one of the things I love so much is like the community aspect of what we have here and how we talk, and I don't want it to be like a pressure of like you have to you know, off when we're not doing the live, like you have to interact with each other or with me. But there's the option if you want to, or like if someone is going through a hard time or something and things like that, it can be kind of like that. I don't know. And again, I was thinking of Patreon, but Patreon is like a little convoluted in how it works, but probably more of you heard and are more likely to be on Patreon, maybe. I don't know. Sorry. Thank you, Rose Wild, for for taking my prompt or whatever. It is a chat messaging system that tends to be linked to things like games and social media platforms. Yeah, games. I think the gaming community was like the big one at first within. Like for instance, I'm in the Y Files Discord channel on YouTube that has made videos for years that are also on TV. Yeah, it's blowing up in the last couple of years. I feel like so many like not companies. Yeah. I don't know, like my acting school, I'm trying to actually get like an official one for my acting school. Um Personal development school is Thais Gibson's attachment style theory school. And that's what who like taught or certified me in the coaching of that. And so that was like my first, I think, interaction. Or Boss Babe. I would not recommend Boss Babe. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got out of that because they basically got so rich out of that. And of course, some people are so new to social media and to content creation, maybe they got some use of it. But I feel like those people that did that seminar or whatever just got rich for nothing. They didn't put much together. And I remember they basically told everyone, hey, be on social media, be a content creator. All you need is to know, I think, 1/3 or 2/3 more than your audience. I'm like, no, no, that's not. That's not. That's so dangerous if you're thinking of like life coaching or nutrition or whatever. I mean, no, no. You have to be so careful. But anyways, so yeah. Yeah, the Discord channel has chat groups to talk about the stuff, the episodes themselves, where you can report things to be on the show. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really cool. It's really such a cool idea. Such a cool idea. So keep an eye out for that, potentially, if you want to join. Anyways, let's get into the topics because, yeah, I started saying if you're new to the channel, I got so excited. This is so small, but I reached and then it went back and then it's back again. 191 subscribers. I don't know who subscribed. The two people that subscribed over the weekend. But thank you so much if you're watching this. That was so exciting. 191. It's such a small number because 500 is like the minimum for monetary whatever. And so that's like the goal, but like I just got super excited. And last week, I'm gonna try to do this with this too. I think it worked to do the little smaller clips. Thank you guys for watching it. I know, or like at least clicking on it or commenting on the other clips that I took out of the lives. But I'm gonna try to do that just for like capturing a new audience, maybe, a little bit more people. I when we had that influx from Lauren's channel. It was exciting, and that's primarily also why I made you guys the moderators, because you're the OGs, and also to see you guys that you're on here, and to like prioritize your messages, as bad as it might sound to everyone else, but because you've been here from like I think day one, right? I if not all of you, like some of you. I know Rose Wild, you're one of the younger members of the channel, or not members, but but yeah, like I think it's been from like really that first chat, which is insane to think of. That was like so many lives ago, and like 4 months ago almost. Wow. Thank you so, oh my gosh, time flies, and then you don't really recognize the accomplishments and the things that you're like grateful for, because you're just like, it's not that I've even been like, oh, on to the next and more people and whatever. I've just been trying to like survive. But yeah, it's like that moment, like, wow, like there is something. I think that's hitting that 190 and then 191. It just brought that like reality, like this is happening. This is like moving. This is like not organic in the sense of like the marketing term, but like organic as far like as an organism. Like it's growing. It's like moving and alive is what I meant. Why this chat is so weird on OBS. Like I can only see some of your messages. It's flying by so fast, yeah. And then yet not fast enough when it comes to the Blake Lively trial. Not fast enough. Today, okay, so I'm very prepared, but I'm not 100% prepared, because honestly, I still need to go back and rewatch Lawrence live, because I was so distracted. I was in Dave's work with Dave, and he was having a rough day, so I really wanted to pay more attention to his live or his stream or his like video. And then Lauren came on, and I'm like, "Ooh, what is this? This sounds crazy." And then yeah, then I got into conversations on both about other unrelated things, and I was like, this is multitasking crazy over here. Um so yeah, Donna came on Lawrence, and it literally like gave me, when your heart starts racing because you see that person that you're like your ex or something. She's like nothing like my ex, but like, in that sense of like not the person that you want to run into, Um yeah. So anyways, I feel like I started a bunch of things and then I didn't. Oh gosh. There's like 10,000 new papers from Blake. Yeah, that's her MO. Yeah. I didn't really realize this until Omar pointed this out, that Brian Friedman hasn't really said much. Was it him or what's her name? Oh my gosh. Not all golden, right? Um or maybe she pointed out. I don't know. Someone pointed out that Brian Friedman, Wayfarer's Eye, like has barely kind of said anything. Not actually golden. Thank you. Thank you. I don't even know what I said. I don't remember, but it's probably better for the better. And uh yeah, and then Blake's side is just like boom, 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 and this and this and this and dismiss this and dismiss that, and like get them to like give us money. That was today basically, and do this, and why are they in this other court? And then Wayfair is like, hi Palaver, oh look at those emojis, hi the dolphin, and the I love that flower, by the way. Is that a hibiscus flower? I think so, right? I love it. Hi, welcome. Um, and it kind of tells you, I think it was Omar because he was talking about how like Blake's side is kind of litigating as if they're losing. And yeah, yeah. Today was, I don't even know. I don't have access to all of the documents, but I do have some. So let's get into like all the topics because there's a lot. And I'm going to try to be fast and I'm going to try to talk fast and I'm going to try to get all of us off by before midnight. It's 9:44. I don't know. I don't know if we can do it, if I can do it, but I'm going to try. Um, so some of these, unfortunately, might go a little faster than I would like, I guess. Hold on, let me start with this. This was so sad, such a sad news, and I'm sorry I don't have the reactions that I heard people talk about. I could look it up now, maybe I will, but um, I don't really want to. I think I just want to take the moment, take the time to just mention this and hope, for the best. President Joe Biden, Joe, I don't know, however you want to call him, was diagnosed with aggressive form of prostate cancer on Friday, and sorry, he was informed Friday, and when I heard this, I did think like, is this why he's been so kind of in poor health, or like at first I didn't know the news. I just heard there was some news about him and then I thought, like, is it because of that? And then I heard this and it doesn't seem like it. It has spread to the bone. But it appears to be hormone sensitive, which I didn't understand. So I heard there were some really disgusting comments. If you, from like JD Vance and other people, if you hear that someone, I don't care who it is, I don't care who it is, also because he's not a war criminal. He's not someone who, regardless of the differences in opinion and beliefs and policies and religion, whatever you want, he's not someone who has done atrocities. Okay? So unless he's that person, maybe I guess I can see people say bad things and be happy, or like just, I don't know. I'm just even disgusted. I didn't hear, I just saw, hi P, welcome. Just saw that on Lauren's channel, this was something that I was talking about. I just saw that, you know, supposedly JD Vance said something and I was told kind of what he had said. Maybe, was it you, Rosewild? I forget. I don't know. Someone. Gosh, sorry if it's you. I don't see it on X right now. What was today's 19th? So it was on the 18th. I'm never on X. I don't even know. Um, maybe he took it down. It's all about the Pope. Pope this and Pope that, and then apparently he only got like 15 minutes. Sorry, let me pull you guys into the loop on here. But if you're going to say anything bad about someone who was diagnosed with a terminal illness or is in a terminal state for whatever reason, is he in love with the Pope or something? Like, what is going on? There's so many Pope things. Sorry. If you're going to say something in poor taste about someone who's been diagnosed with something terminal, you are really the lowest of the low. I don't think it gets, people can disagree, can even fight, can even like want war, whatever. it's not good at all, but I can understand, or it's like human right now. We're at that stage of human. We're that at that level of the human life game, where that's a thing. But if you do anything like that, like I'm saying, what I've heard, um, you're really like you should not. No, you just keep your mouth shut. That's like in that kind of place, that saying, that American saying, like if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything. That's a good one for that one. I'm so sorry to hear about that, Rose Wild. Also, I didn't want to skip that. Sorry. Oh, so you think it was like connected? I don't know. It's tough. It's yeah, it's hard with getting old. Oh, yeah. You're from the UK, right, Rosewild? I forget. Um, yeah, I don't remember who it was. Lar Trainer. I don't know. Maybe it was her. Has gone through so much. It's a miracle he remained calm and kept working. Yeah. No, he's such like a good, again, like yeah, it wasn't, he's done his own stuff. No one's perfect. Sorry. Forgot to put that. But he is such a good show of being like a real politician, I would say. What I would think a politician needs to do, which is be very serious, um, take things seriously, is what I mean. He feels, what I've heard from him, what I've understood, what I've learned about him, etc. And it's not much, so I don't know. But regardless of his shortcomings, he really dedicated his life, kind of like Bernie Sanders, but in just a different way, different ideologies, etc. But he really wanted good, and he really wanted to serve this country. And it's really sad. It was really sad to see him kind of get worse in health and in cognitive health and so forth. Um, when the election was happening, it was heartbreaking. I don't know, like it's making me want to cry. I voted for him, but I didn't really know much, or care too much or whatever. It was just like, okay, he's like good enough. He was like, with Obama, love Obama. He's not perfect, maybe okay, but like no Trump, so I voted for him, but I didn't know too much about it, and still don't know. So yeah, but um it yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I don't know. And I'm yeah, yeah. Um it's what came to mind when I read about it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Um in Missouri. I'm so sorry. I'm like getting people mixed up now. There's someone from the UK that had a similar name to yours. Um, hmm. But yeah. Um, the obsession with the Pope and political figures is always odd to me, but I also understand that the Catholic Church, whether you like it or not, is still very powerful. Yeah. Um, I have some Pope. The Pope is on here on the list. So let me move forward. But yes, it's really sad to hear, and I think someone wished him a speedy recovery or something. Was that Trump that wished him that? I don't know. Um, what is prostate cancer? Okay, I mean, I guess that's a fair point. I feel like it's talked about so much. Um, I guess, like, to be honest, I didn't know what the prostate was until maybe a couple years ago. I don't know. So I guess that's a fair, but no one thought of like asking that. I just kind of heard about it, as far as like affecting men and stuff. Um, but yeah, I do hope that there is hope. They say that it's hormone responsive or whatever, so I'm guessing that's kind of a hopeful thing. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just my heart goes out to him and his family and all that. It affects women too. Yeah, but it's not that we have a prostate. I thought it isn't, but it's. I don't feel like it's that common, right, in women. Huh. I didn't know we had a prostate. Okay, so I still don't know what a prostate is. Maybe I should go. Maybe I should, like, not to make light of this, but like maybe I should check out what they're saying. Um, the second most common cancer in men, affecting 1 in 8 men. Wow. What's the first one? With symptoms, and I don't mean to linger on symptoms because I get triggered by symptoms. With symptoms, it's like just go to the doctor and hopefully you have a good doctor because things things that you don't even think are symptoms that aren't unrelated to what is actually happening can be a symptom of that thing. And then, like, I don't know, it just gets so confusing. Anyways, sorry. Oh, okay. Cervical cancer. Um, think JD is testing his Grim Reaper superpower, and then on yeah. So let's move on to this because I went to see what he said about Joe Biden, and I don't know where whoever told me, well, where he posted. Maybe he took it down, which I doubted. But I see just so many Pope. This is not that, but so many Pope references. So they arrive in Rome. Today the SLOTUS, didn't know that was a thing. Did not know that was a thing. And I visited the tomb of the late Holy Father Pope Francis. He was beloved by many Catholics around the world. What is JD Vance? Is he Catholic? Probably not. Which is weird because I always thought America was Catholic, but I guess it's not. It's primarily not Catholic. So, because I think, right, wasn't JFK Jr. or whatever? Oh my gosh, my brain, wasn't he Catholic? And it was like, whoa. Anyways, so to me, I was like, wait, uh, the majority of American politicians are not Catholic? Like, I thought Protestants and all the other Christian denominations were like more minorities. So it was like such a weird, like, whoa, for me. He was beloved by many Catholics around the world, and I hope you will join me in praying for the repose of his soul. Okay, I don't know why it sounds so creepy from him. And then he reposted, I was honored to join VPN SLOTUS. What is a SLOTUS? Wait. Second lady? What? I don't know. As part of the official U.S. delegation for the inaugural Mass of His Holiness Pope Leo the 14th. What is SLOTUS? Anyways, it was an honor to join so many of the faithful at the inaugural Mass. Then some other things, and then the Pope 14th greets Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Mrs. Jeanette Rubio following his inaugural mass. Yeah. Anyways, the whole thing was like, yeah, he gave him like 15 seconds or whatever, and then he had a whole meeting with Zelensky. The Pope did, but I'm seeing they also met up. All right, cool. And then more meetings. Yeah, he's definitely like, well, why wasn't Trump there? Was it just because he was in Saudi Arabia? I don't know. Okay, so we don't have prostates. Okay. Um. Seriously, I thought it was only males, but I didn't know if females they have. Yeah. Biden is a devout Catholic. Not sure about JD Vance. I think he has I don't even know who JD Vance is. And I keep saying that, Rose Wild. America has, he's the vice president, if you're actually seriously saying that. America has far more evangelicals than Catholics, but Catholics still have a stronghold in US politics. Yeah, interesting. What are evangelicals? Are those like the other denominations altogether, or is that a specific denomination? I know so yeah, don't know much about that. Anyways, moving on. I do have a story about the Pope though, but since we searched for that, Romanian elections. So liberal mayor Nicușor Dan wins tense race for Romanian presidency. Let me tell you this race. A few months ago, like in November, I think, they had a presidential race. Okay, I need to understand more. I thought I was confident in the information that my family kind of taught me about this, but I'm not, because there were the primaries to which we have like I don't know 8 or 10 people running different parties, etc. Not like tier 2 or 3. But yeah, you had the primaries, and then 2 people get left from that, and then those get the primaries, the secondary, whatever, so 2 elections. Anyways, in the first one, I think the this one opponent came out of nowhere with like 45% in the primaries, like in the first round. And that was like pretty unheard of. And he supposedly came out of nowhere, off of TikTok, blah 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 blah. And then Romania, or like in the primaries, I don't know. And then Romania was like, hold up, no, this is not constitutional, or this is not okay. Something's off with this. Let's have a re-election. So they paused the election results, and then they had another election this Sunday or this weekend. Pretty sure it was this Sunday because it was like live in the house, and then I saw it online. And so I thought, why don't we have all presidential elections everywhere on Sunday, unless that country is a working day Sunday, and or Saturday, like on a weekend type of day where everyone's off work. Not everyone, unfortunately, but most people are off work and everyone can vote. They don't have to be pressured to not vote, which as I'm saying that, I'm like, oh, probably that's why. And then B, uh, you know, why didn't we do that? Why didn't we do that? It wasn't the same thing, but I do like, oh, what's his name? I forget his name, but he's a comedian. And I was just watching him this morning in Canada and talking about how like he appreciates that Canadians, I guess, kind of like the British and I guess the Romanians, if something's off or they don't like the new person, like, oh, let's reconsider this. This is not going what as we thought. Let's like have a re-election. Whereas the US, it's like, well, we're here for 4 more years, so let's hope for the best. And I do think that can backfire if you re-elect that fast, but also if it's going as bad as it's going now, where even MAGA people are, or MAGA people are like, hold up, this is not what we voted for, this is not what we want. Maybe it's, if it's that serious, maybe we need to kind of reconsider and re-elect. I don't know, but that's never going to happen, especially with this one. So, but that's what happened with the Romanian elections, and that's one of the reasons why it was so tense, because move forward to this, the opponent to Nico, do they have tiers? The other person, let's see. Okay, no. Well, I liked it. The opponent also won the primary again with the 45 or so percent. And he even said something to the effect that if he wins, he will consider like giving his seat as the president, like conceding to the guy who was originally elected. But Romania was like, no, that's corrupt. There's something off. Like he shouldn't have been elected because he wasn't even really in the race to begin with or something. So, you know, people did kind of get aware that something's off with all of that side. that particular party. But at the same time, apparently it was still neck and neck pretty much. It was more than 40%, I think 45%, but it was really close. So, yeah. Yay for democracy. um, I am so curious now, though, um, how how well they do in actually combating the future repeating what just happened. So, like, because Trump was almost elected, last time, and then he got elected the second time, like this time around. So, people don't realize that we can't just like blame and point fingers on, like, well, he's crazy or he's not truthful or this or that or whatever, and pointing fingers at the politician that was elected, etc. Especially, I think it should be a eye opener for us in America that so many people, like, he won the popular vote too. Trump, not just the electoral vote. So it should be an eye opener that we need to like shape up. We can just like sit and like, well, I'm educating myself. I know better. I know I'm not ignorant. And then, oh, you're so bad because you don't know anything. And how can you think this way? And that's never going to get anywhere. And then also to realize that the people that voted for the opposing side, whichever side it is, they're voting for a reason and they need to be heard. And I think one of the big things around this election for Romania and then the election we had in the US, um, you can't not hear people out and just like, oh, go away. It's kind of like bad parenting where you're like, just do XYZ because I say so. It doesn't work, especially once the child is of age of having a vote or being able to go out of the house or like live on their own. Like, it's not going to help them. It's not going to keep them safe. It's not going to like get your way if you just do that. Um, but it takes effort for us to help each other out in staying connected and staying informed and critically think. And we do that a lot with the Blake Lively community, or not, we're not Blake Lively supporters, but like the Blake Lively legal drama community. um the ones on the Justin side, I would say, do a great job with realizing critical thinking is in danger and it's fragile, or it can be fragile, because people can really want to take advantage of people and through information. I mean, today what I keep hearing about the Blake Lively side of things, it's just like insane. One of the things that we're going to watch, because I barely kind of watched it, is the Perez Hilton allegation or whatever information that she's like threatening journalists allegedly, um to rewrite, to suppress, or to kind of manipulate, maneuver things around in articles. So it's not, it's alleged right now. He's really trusting his source, but um it's alleged so far, but like it's not impossible. And politicians do this so much. I loved Bernie Sanders came on some, I don't know, Dave played for us this one video. Shoot, I didn't even, I should have gotten the name of the video or looked it up and saved it. But he went on this podcast or something and he was like just so chill. And then, sorry, it was another video where he was on a Fox channel, Fox News or whatever channel, and he's like, okay, let me tell you from both sides how both sides suck. And he had such a great point. So we need to like, and I'm curious what Romania will do. He's saying we need to rebuild Romania together, irrespective of who you voted for. That's great. Biden said this. Great. What? How? Are you really? Or are you just going to blame or, not do anything that's like super effective in making sure people know how to critically think, how to critically investigate? Because with AI, it's going to get more and more difficult. And to really be introspective and work on themselves, to be in touch with what are my needs, what are my morals, what what guides me, what's my compass, and that compass to be for them to feel safe enough or fired enough, like, lit a fire enough, that compass is love, and that compass is towards love, towards safety, towards health, towards fairness. That's what we need. And there's this kind of theory that the more people, um or not the more people, oh my gosh, sometimes my brain just tries to get ahead of what I'm trying to say, and it does a horrible job. um the more you ignore the lesson that life is trying to teach you, the worse that lesson gets, the bigger that lesson gets, the more hurtful that lesson gets, until you actually pay attention, until you actually get the message. And I feel like that's what's happening in the world right now. I think Blake Lively is also a symptom of that. It's like life is just like, hey, hello, people, wake up. You're not doing a great job at being awake. You're just kind of sleepwalking through life and just being complacent and just taking for granted what you've had, or not evolving because you're like comfortable, or whatever it is. But it's like, it's a huge wake up call. All over the world, people like Trump are like, and the Italian prime minister or president or whoever, that one woman, I forget her name, like she's like that too. Like all over the world, the more extreme right is popping up. People are choosing the extreme right for a reason. And we need to actually investigate that. We need to actually analyze that and actually do something about that. Not point fingers, not say, well, oh, he's stupid, or look at him, or this or that. Or like, oh, the people who voted for him are stupid, or for her are stupid, or what. That is not going to get us anywhere. Anyways, so that's my little Romanian. He was like, I want to see what you do, Romania. I don't let me down. Don't let me down. Make me proud. Make me want to be proud to be Romanian. And the same with the U.S. I think that regardless of what you are, whatever country you belong to, so to speak, I think like it's a two-way street to a degree. Like you can't just be proud to be whatever ethnicity or whatever country you are, because if they're doing a terrible job, you can still love that country, and you can still fight for that country, and you can still show up for that country, but and respect it. But it's not the same as like being proud of it, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's my take on things, though. Um, oh, you really didn't know who JD Vance was? Okay. I mean, I didn't know much. I went under a rock for the last 8 years, Rose Wild. So, just recently, I was like, oh, I don't think I've known any of the vice presidents of the least past decade. Yeah, in the past, like I don't know Bill Clinton's. I don't know who. It was like Bill Clinton, Obama. Oh, and then Bush. Was there anyone else in between? Bill Clinton was the first one that I remember. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know his vice president. Don't know Bush's. Don't know if there was anyone in between. And then there's Obama, and I know Joe Biden. And then I forget the guy that Trump was with the first time around. And then, but I remember he looked really scary. And then Kamala Harris was for Joe Biden. So yeah, I mean, I'm not too far from where you are, Rose Wild. Contrary to what the media may have told people, POTUS have crazy travel schedules. It doesn't matter if they have drivers, PAs, etc. Not sure to what that is, P, to what you're talking to. I don't know. Katie from Without a Crystal had some recent issues with lay supporters finding her in real life. Oh no. Uh, what the heck? This is another thing, like I was saying with, Joe Biden's diagnosis. If you feel in yourself that you need to threaten someone because they don't have your same beliefs, that's not a them problem, that's a you problem. And I know that's not going to help anyone or anything, but like, that's a you problem. And that's definitely not even supported by the people. I don't even, as far as like the arson with Jersey, I, as much as, we, whatever, however low we think of Blake sometimes, I don't even think Blake would support that, honestly. There's just some lines that you need help with if you feel like crossing those, even if it's just a threat to scare someone. That is not okay, and that's just so messed up. That's always, unfortunately, the risk you take as a content creator, as someone who's public, either in mainstream regular media or, content creator, social media. You can always get found in real life, and unfortunately, yeah, those things happen with threats and things. It's so sad and it's scary. And I like to not think about it too much and try to do my best precautions. But um, it's sometimes you can't. Um, yeah, her PR team is doing more damage to her than helping. If she is okay with this, she deserves what they say about her. Yeah, I don't think she's okay with, I don't know, like the PR, sure, but I don't think she would be okay with the threats. Um, I don't think she's, again, evil or like crazy. I think she's just super privileged and ignorant and maybe narcissistic or whatever. But like that's not the same thing as these people and like what would promote these people. Um, Even like narcissism, like, because people say Trump is also narcissistic. I don't know. Again, I'm not here to diagnose anyone, but that's like something else when, because he encouraged the, was it January 6th or whatever? Like, those are like allegedly, supposedly, those are a little different than just being like your regular narcissist. I don't know. I find that hard to imagine that she would be okay with people doing that in her name. I don't know. I guess who knows? Maybe she could feel flattered, but I think that's like a stretch. That's horrible though. I only remember Cheney. Oh yeah, Cheney. Who was he from? What it was? I only remember him because he shot someone while bird hunting. Oh my gosh, did he? I didn't know about that. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I'm getting distracted, and I love chatting with you guys, but let's move along. But oh, was he? Yeah, George Bush, like the young one, his vice president. Oh, okay, and then he wanted to run with what's her name from Alaska, and they didn't win. Okay. I think it's coming together. It's coming back. Check her out. Go subscribe if you haven't. CJ. CJ is often on Lauren's channel. Maybe on other channels. I don't remember, but I remember talking with her a couple of times. I think it was on Lauren's channel. I'm like, you should, because I think she said that she was thinking of doing videos and things, and I'm like, you should just start. And just like, no, I want to like be perfect, not just throw something out there. And I'm like, just start and then figure out perfection. As much as like it's not nice, and some people can do, perfect something and then put it out there. Some people can do that, some people don't. I mean, look at Elsie's content is definitely far from perfect as far as like visuals. Like when you think of like Dave and Donna even, and like you think of very refined sort of visuals and graphics, not so much with Donna, but like with Dave. Maybe Lee, I don't know. I think Donna hired someone or something because her channel is like getting kind of a makeover. But yeah, or maybe she's just like doing a makeover herself, I don't know. But yeah, like you just start. And Elsie is huge. Huge because of her personality. So just start. But yeah, check her out, check CJ out. If you want, subscribe to her. I don't know, I just wanted to give that shout out. She doesn't really know me, but let her know that I sent you if you do go there, if you haven't subscribed already. These are appetizers, these are random things. I saw Caroline's. I don't know if you guys know of her. She's someone, if you need a break from the craziness of politics or Blake Lively's or whatever's, all the news, go watch her channel. If you need a break from content creation, even like mine, that's just kind of like content created, I don't know, go to her channel. If you haven't watched one of her videos, it's worth. And I would start with her latest one. She is, and then like earlier on too, she has such creative videos. She's amazing. She's amazing. And it's such a breath of fresh air. I don't watch all the time. As you can see, I didn't watch some of the videos, and some I was like rewatching, so they're not. She is really, really very thoughtful and very creative with her. Let me introduce this one. Well, this one's actually copyrighted. Hold on. This will be copyrighted music. Um, it was one that I really loved. Oh gosh, I don't know which one. I don't know. They're also long. Usually this is like a shorter one. Is that one?
Plant, because obviously it lasts longer. You don't have to.
Okay, sorry. I was not prepared. I was not prepared. There's one where she's with her boyfriend though, and talk about, you know how like it's annoying. Love Lauren. Court of Random Opinion. Love her. Love her. I want to support her, and I sit through the ads because I cannot afford her membership and I can't support her that way. But they drive me crazy. I seriously, I was like, I just can't. I can't. There's so many ads lately on her channel. I don't know if that's her choosing or not, but yeah. And then, people just want to do, I'm trying to find this stupid one, sorry. Yeah, this one. They try to do,
Can I ask you?
like sponsorships in the middle of the videos and stuff, and I'm like, ew. She actually got super creative with it. um I don't know, maybe it's not this one. Okay, maybe it's not. Sorry. I know this is so like stupid maybe, but once you see it, I think I might redeem myself once you see what I'm talking about. Is it this? No. Oh, I didn't even see that one. Oh my gosh, where is it? I don't think she took it down. It was like this video redecorating. Okay, this one. Okay. I'm not going crazy. All right.
I wanted to take a moment to address some questions I've been getting recently. People have been asking things like, hey girl, why you looking so comfy, bombas? Why you looking so cozy, bombas? Why you looking so cutie, bombas, 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 bombas? Hey girl, why you looking so sponsored,
Bombas.
why you looking so dancer,
Bombas.
This is her take on sponsorship thing. And she doesn't do this for everything, but I thought this was so creative. This is so unique. And just her whole videos are like that. I know it doesn't really have anything to do. This is not like, oh my gosh, a new piece of news. But it was on here from the weekend, and it was a nicer thing because most of these news today are not so nice. wanted to share that. The other thing, I'm gonna put it in the chat for you guys. No pressure whatsoever at all. If you already were thinking of doing Viome, this is it's not my affiliate. You get $50 off. It's not a lot, I know. And I think I get $50 off. It is really not a lot when you go into Viome stuff, but I I don't know. I see a lot of like ads for all these supplements and this and that and blah blah blah, and they're teaming up with, where's my phone, with Mind Valley, I think. Yeah, Mind Valley certified nutrition coach in partnership with Viome. They're teaming up with them for like nutrition coaching, which, who can afford any of this? Viome itself, it's, crazy, but like they basically, you get this test. This is again not a sponsorship. This is not an affiliate, but I'm going to tell you about it because I really love this product. You get saliva, blood, and stool samples to them, and they analyze it through their stuff, and then they give you your specific supplements gut formula with probiotics and also fiber, and supplements that are with, like, mine has acai berry, it has some other things in it, and minerals and vitamins that you need based on your specific samples, not just like randomly. It is very like specific to you. And they also added, I have it here, toothpaste, but you have like night toothpaste. This should be an ad. You have night and day toothpaste, like morning and night, and it comes, this is not a great for the environment, so maybe they'll like fix this, but it comes with this, like, you snap it and that's your toothpaste. If you don't have stomach problems, it actually is really a miraculous toothpaste. I don't know, I never got things so clean in my mouth before. No, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But again, no pressure, but if you were thinking about this, that will give you 50. What issue? What issue? Wait, microphone issue? What issue? What's the issue? Can you explain more? Because I see my microphone going here. To the topics, because yeah, I'm like stuck on this. I'm waiting. What is the issue? Am I? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I don't. Does anyone else? I don't hear that on the one that I tried. Maybe it's your connection, your like internet connection. I hear myself okay. So yeah, sorry. I wish I could help with that. Um, my knock on wood, my internet's been okay. Anyways, so yeah, don't want to spend too much time on that. I've talked about Viome before. I'm sorry. I hope that it comes back for you, Palaver girl. I had it earlier, but it's storming here, so that's why my stuff is breaking up. Yeah, maybe it's the same, like a storm or something. Or just the internet is sometimes just a pain for no reason. Sometimes it's not a storm. Hi, Angel. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Hi, welcome. You maybe got it here in time if you are more curious about Blake Lively and other stuff than whatever nonsense I've been talking about. um, but yeah, it's nice to see you. Um, Yeah, so yeah, as far as like Viome, yeah, it also tells you like they've like opted. It tells you like cholesterol issues and things. Again, I my favorite thing is that it is really expensive. It's 300 some for the test, very expensive. Like I said, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure to get it. And then for the monthly, I only have honestly the supplements I cannot take every day, so those last me kind of 2 3 months. But it's 199 per month for the supplements, the gut formula, and the toothpaste. And sometimes they give you discounts on top of the $50. So yeah, it is expensive. Again, I don't hate recommended it because I'm not recommending, like I'm not for, like, please don't feel forced. Please don't feel forced. But if you have the money and you want to, you have that extra link, that extra $50. But yeah, I don't know. I really do believe in it, even though I'm like really have no money. I'm trying hard to like put aside money for this because I'm really going through like the trying my hardest to get healthy and fix my gut really. So yeah, that's yeah, no pressure. Yeah, if you restart the live Palaver and Rosewild, restart or like refresh the browser, sometimes that helps. Um, yeah, let's go. Exit and then enter back. It helps. Yeah. It's okay. I always reset before reporting. I'll catch up on replay. Yeah, that sounds good. Um, do you also have like a channel? What do you mean reporting? If you do, let us know in the chat. Um, hold on. What was I doing there? I need to drink. I haven't drank much of anything. All right, Justin. Justin. All right. This isn't really a piece of news, but I thought this guy is trying to be dragged, or Blake is trying to drag this guy for being an awful. I just hold on. Odette, no. No. Sorry, my dog has allergies and she likes to lick one of her paws to the bone. Yeah, so yeah, this guy, just watch, like, I'll play this whole thing. Just watch how he interacts with his fans. I don't think I have to tell you to watch or anything. Like, it's just, yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. Justin, we're gonna keep it cool. So I read on E! News that you said that you felt lonely directing this film. Why? Tell us. What was it like?
I think all directors
Right
feel
here,
lonely.
Justin.
It's a
I
strange
love
place.
you so much.
Oh my God, you're so
Justin,
sweet.
also, what is the message to your fans? You know, there was a lot of stuff in the media. What do you want to say to the fans now that it's out and people can see it? You know, and you don't maybe want things to kind of take their judgment. What do you want to say to the fans?
I just want to say thank you to all the fans, to everybody. Thank you for seeing this movie, for supporting it, for supporting survivors, and for helping us make sure that the message didn't get lost. And I'm just so grateful to all the fans. So.
I love that.
Hi, how are you, dear?
How are you? Can I hug you? Oh my God.
Yeah, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you shaking? Oh my God, you okay?
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were about to come out, so
no.
my legs just dropped. I'm sorry.
Justin, I got
Of course, you want to put it out for movies out. You're out promoting.
So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet
So
you.
nice to meet you.
How are things now?
We're just so grateful. The movie's out on Netflix, so
Justin.
nice to meet you.
Justin, so what's next?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Miss.
Taking a vacation with my family.
I know
Taking
that's
a
right.
vacation with my baby.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Oh my God! Oh my freaking! Oh, he's still there. I didn't know he was still there.
I don't know what happened there. We'd never get to see it, but like this guy won at the end. Whatever was happening, he was reactive. He wasn't a jerk and just whatever. B, it was clearly something distressful. Just like his face was like, what's going on? Is everyone okay? Kind of thing. But the way that he reacted to that one fan who was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that you were coming out," and I don't know. There's moments where, okay, yeah, sure, you can be. Hold on. Odette? The way that she turns and looks at me, she's like, what? I wasn't doing anything. The way that you can like script some answers or like be professional or whatever, sure. But there's moments where you react to something that's happening in the moment where you react. It's not from before. It's not planned in any way. And that's when you see, I feel like, people's real characters. And yeah, I don't know. I just
for
love
helping
that
us make sure that
part.
the message didn't get lost. And this
He didn't know. He didn't know what was next. He thought he was going to take a vacation and relax and recover, and he did not know. But this part is the place.
Hi, how are you, dear?
How are you? Can I hug you? Oh my God.
Yeah, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you shaking? Oh my God, you okay?
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were about to come out, so my legs just dropped. I'm
No,
sorry.
okay, I got
Of
you.
course, you want to put it out for me.
I don't know. Anyways, probably talked more, so cut that out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in between. It is 10:30. Oh, it's 10:30, and we're like kind of halfway through. I want to get to that, but first, I just kind of made its own thing. So, oh, sorry. Wow, I didn't know that was like the headline there. Trigger warning. The I almost read that as starship, the ship, sail ship. I don't think that's a word. Is that a word, guys? I don't think so. No, not reporting to Big Brother. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have a channel, but I don't cover pop culture. If you want to share your channel, unless like I know sometimes it's just like a YouTube setting where people don't, or not people, it's like YouTube automatically kind of doesn't allow or something, links. I kept thinking people were just taking them off. But yeah, if you want to share, share. If you don't want to share, no pressure, Angel. But yeah, so the ship, I mean, like I said, I really was like, whoa, trying, thinking that I would like message, because I know some of you are in Brooklyn or in New York area. I was like, but I didn't. But this happened on Saturday, right? Saturday night or Friday? No, Saturday night, right? Yeah, right? Gosh. Anyways, so Mexican naval, oh my gosh, I just lost where are my notes. A Mexican naval ship, which I don't know, I got so confused by all of that because it's a sail, it has sails. When I think of like a naval ship, I think of like a modern ship, but this one was not. Anyways, and it was headed to Iceland. It was also a training vessel, which I have no idea what any of this means. I am so not with the military lingo, or anything like that. But it had 277 passengers. I hope that I didn't typo that. 19 of which were injured, and then 4 serious. 2 passed away. I actually did not see updates, but this was kind of the updated. People were thinking it was probably the ones at the top. I have this really cool video, but yeah, sorry, before I get to that. So, the ship was called Cuauhtemoc. I think that's how you pronounce it. It collided with the iconic bridge, Brooklyn Bridge, on May 17th, spanning the East River. So it took out, I'll show you guys the trajectory and stuff. This guy put all of this together. It's like really cool. It was 20 feet or almost 20 meters too high, especially because it was high tide and stuff. But it wasn't meant to go down that way where it did end up going. I know Dave was covering this, and his last news was that there was indeed a mechanical, like the engine stopped working. And yet this one guy says otherwise, but there was definitely some sort of malfunction. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. Have any of you guys are you able to put in the link to it? Because that is going to help. But yeah, have any of you guys saw this video? This was like the initial one that I saw, I guess.
We're getting says that large ship was going northbound on the East River. That's on the south side of that screen just there before it hit the bottom of the Brooklyn Bridge. Some witnesses say it shook that bridge. The vessel has 3 super tall masts, and all of them, one by one, were sheared off, falling towards the ship, falling towards the water, hitting the top deck, while hitting some other parts, hitting the water. What could only be described as incredible force there. Then it started heading towards the pier. This shot you're seeing now is from the Brooklyn side of this event, the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Bridge, just north of it. So it's between the Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan Bridge, traveling northbound there. People on that pier are clearing away.
Anyways, I don't know why he said the location that many times in so many different ways. It was kind of clear, but either way, from that video especially. So this was the initial, I'll link to this
Spring into home improvement with Infinity from
video
Marvin.
of
Get beautiful
ads. I need to get YouTube Premium just because I'm a content creator, I guess, and I'm giving you guys all these ads.
As we're speaking right now, our head of the bridge division,
I believe this was the Mexican ambassador.
Information is that there was no any major damage to the bridge, but they continue.
A bunch of different people, if you haven't seen this and you're curious, a bunch of different people weighed in on the situation, like a bunch of different people. At the end, though, this one lady comes in saying something like, because everyone's like, yeah, it was a mechanical failure or whatever.
There was some mechanical issues that probably caused the ship to hit the water.
I'll just add that all of the information that the chief provided is preliminary and subject to change, and the NTSB is going to be doing a full investigation of what happened here.
This was under the purview of the Mexican Navy. Is that fair to say? The Mexican Navy boat?
Yeah, the ship is a goodwill vessel that has been on the waters for more than 20 years, sharing Mexican culture. Its name is Cuauhtemoc, and this is one of the trips that the ship does. It came from Cozumel and was heading to Iceland.
What were the people on the boat doing? Were they, you know?
Well, they sail. It's a sailboat.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
So yeah, they said also something. Yeah, I was confused. Someone earlier said in some other video how it's under U.S. What did it say? Oh, something like it's owned by the U.S. Navy. Yeah, NBC, the NBC video said, and I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? Anyways, this guy, I will definitely link this. This guy's video
was pointing
is
into the
amazing. He goes.
This image.
Oh, darn it! I hate this old. I'll try to get the link for everyone. I don't think it's like removing the person. It's just like removing the link, but I'll try to get it. It's hard for me though to find things. That's why I'm kind of asking. So he goes into like the tide and the currents and just a bunch of different things. He goes into this little pilot, like a pilot on board, which is it's different because they did say that in the first video, and people, the commenter or whatever, the newscaster, the reporter, the investigator, whatever he was like, or they were all kind of, maybe he meant the captain or something, but no, pilots are just, because I don't know if you're curious, and also good night Rose Wild, if you're curious like me, here's a more information. So I was really excited. I learned so much. It was really exciting to learn so much from this guy, from his video. But yeah, a pilot is someone who basically takes the ship, I don't know if both in and out of, for example, the river here. Is it the Hudson River? Um, versus the captain just, don't laugh at me, captaining the ship the rest of the way. So the pilots are more aware of how to maneuver in the specific area that they are in. There's like, he said here, whether it was a Sandy Hook pilot, which he imagines that it was, or a docking pilot. Docking pilot might be, because he's like, it's a Mexican naval vessel, so it has sovereign immunity, so it could be a docking pilot. I'm guessing by his phrase, and don't quote me on this. I don't know anything about ships. I'm learning, but I'm just like sharing information because I got excited to learn this stuff. The little that I have learned it. But from what I'm hearing is that the docking pilot would be part of the crew, of the Mexican crew, but on the ship forever, like, during the whole journey. Whereas a Sandy Hook pilot is someone that takes the ship out of New York Harbor through whatever bridge. Sorry, I love New York, but I don't know this bridge. Verrazano. I've not heard of that bridge. And so he's not sure. Then the tug. He also goes into details of this little. He calls it. Sorry, so many pronouns. He calls it a she, and I thought that was cute. But yeah, he goes into this. And how it was, the way that it was facing that way because of the kind of ship, and to kind of show the bow or something, the front of the boat. But usually would be kind of the other way around for easier like maneuvering out of the port. But yeah, so he goes into this whole trajectory, and then, oh, and this was like interesting. So here, like, this was kind of the tugboat pushing, trying to like maneuver the boat. It could have been tied to it, but that's a captain decision, and it wasn't. So maybe that was on purpose. Maybe it wasn't. And then it did this, which was like, oh, that was not planned, because such a ship puts a tarp over so it doesn't make the ship side black, because the tugboat would. So this was unplanned, and then he goes into later. This is so detailed, but this is like really cool. Talks about the boat, and then there's a commercial ad. It is a wild story. It is. And I definitely, at first, I was like, oh no, Mexico. We do not want bad Mexican news. We do not want any news about that's bad around Mexico. Like, I don't even know if, like, those type of media places spun this out of craziness and made some crazy story out of, like, Mexican ship attacks New York City famous Brooklyn Bridge, because I'm sure someone thought of that headline. But that was like my first thing. I'm like, oh no. But everyone's been super civil. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's hope in humanity. There's hope in humanity. Anyway, so then the reason that the tugboat changed was, and unexpectedly so, probably was because of this little guy, McShiny, and this is a bad drawing. And so I don't know, who am I, but to me it's like, okay, it makes sense why they came across something that they didn't plan, and the boat probably was pushed too much this way. If the engines had a malfunction, that's extra bad. The current was going, I think he showed earlier, going this way. The tide was going this way. It was 2 hours into higher tide, or towards high tide. So it was like a combination of bad things. And I actually don't know what this one is. Oh, the wake. Yeah. So They escaped McShiny, but the boat kept going. And the thing that he says that was kind of confusing uh, compared to the news, the latest news. Where was it? I don't know, maybe he had it at the beginning. It was that, like, in the video, in one of the videos, to him it looked like the engines were on. So because of the way that the wake that it was doing, to me, I didn't see that, but I'm not a ship expert whatsoever, not even a ship nowhere, like I don't know anything, but to me it didn't look like that. It just looked like, because there were tiny waves, and I felt like if it was really powerfully just powering through, then there would be like higher splashes or higher little tiny waves, you know. But to him, was saying that the engine was on top of the current and the tide. It created this disaster. Also, I thought this was a cute moment in the way that he presented the story. That he's like, you could see the tugboat McAllister. She was running, trying to get ahead of the ship on the other side to protect Dumbo, to protect that area, the people there, and for the ship to not go, you know, into worse, into onto land, because that's like the beach there, right? So yeah, but in the, I mean, look how close it came. Can't really zoom in, but look how close it came to the shore. That's crazy. That's crazy. It could have been worse for everyone, I feel like. And he was also saying that thankfully the masts, this is like that story, the masts were steel and not wood, although this part suggests maybe the top part was wood. But if it was wood, they would have came completely down, all of them. So this saved so many lives because it was steel, and that's a modern sail ship situation now. And all of these people, all the sailors, I think he had it earlier here. Yeah, like they hooked themselves up to they, these things. I forget what they're called. Um, and he answers this question, because I had this question. I'm like, if they saw themselves going towards the Brooklyn Bridge, it was fast, but there was a tiny bit of time. You know, wouldn't they have been better to unhook themselves and climb down? And he said, basically, he answered the public's question in that sense, like, no. That saved them because they're very secure, and if they're secure, so maybe the people that did pass away, it might have, because I think they fell onto the deck, and maybe they fell because they were at the top, or because they shouldn't have unhooked, but maybe a malfunction or something. We'll maybe hear more. But that saved, so those two things saved all these people's lives. But that's impressive. That's crazy. And that's crazy. I'm like, I would not be able to do that. I don't have fear of heights, but I have fear of whatever you call that. Like moving heights. I don't know. That's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. He didn't really explain why they do this, like if it's ceremonial or if it's for a purpose. It's just freaking scary to me. Like, it just scares me. Anyways. So, yeah, I had a bunch of other kind of more play by play, or not play by play, but other notes, but that's pretty much wrapping up the story, I feel like, decently. Excuse me. You're afraid of heights, yeah. Sorry. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Is this the channel, Angel? That's the link I was talking about. Let me know if this is you. Oh, I have two different things going on over here. All right. Yeah, that's a channel that I was like, I don't know if I'll find it. I'm so bad at finding just by name. I again, I don't think it takes the YouTube person out, but it could just like remove your link. That's what happens with my messages. And I didn't know. I didn't know until I found out. I don't even know how I found out, just recently. But yeah, let me know, Angel, if this is the channel. The other thing was global hunger worsened in 2024. That's a sad news that I wanted to share. Is kind of hard to say. Let me, how do I, too many things. Okay. Put that over here. Where was I? Okay, so that's that. I don't have that, actually. I don't have that. Okay, so it is. All right. I'll just post the link. I don't have that opened, but I do have the link. So on May 16th, the United Nations published its latest report revealing an increase in the hunger and malnutrition across 53 countries in 2024. That's not great news. We're not going in a positive direction. We're kind of like this ship. We're going towards the bridge instead of towards the open ocean. And if we're not careful, we will hit the bridge. And it probably can be worse than what this ship faced. So that's what I'm getting from this. The report highlights that more than 295 million people suffered acute food. Oh my gosh, so sorry. Food insecurity, including 38 million malnourished children and 1.9 million facing famine-like conditions. Yeah. 5% increase compared to the previous year, with nearly a quarter of people in the most affected areas facing severe hunger, and cautions about potentially the largest reductions in humanitarian aid funding, ranging from 10% to 45%. Yeah. So that's bleak. Yep. That's a good question, or that's a good observation, Maria. What is happening to the world? Yeah. I think we've just been sleeping on it, honestly. That's what I'm seeing combined, is that we've just been sleeping on it. We've just been in the places that are decently comfortable. We just got complacent. Or like both, that, and we've been overwhelmed. When, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's not just since 2020, but maybe even more so from then on. It feels like it's the living life has become more overwhelming. You have not more distractions, but you're more distracted. Somehow the days pass so fast, and I end up doing nothing, or I end up doing things, but it feels unfulfilled. It kind of feels like junk food when you eat. Sorry about my accent tonight, guys. When you eat the food, but then you feel hungry after. Excuse me. That's kind of how every day somehow feels. I feel like everyone's working harder than ever, longer than ever, like longer hours. More stress when you're not at work, whether at home or in person. When you're not technically on the clock, you are still thinking about work. And I think that's not been the case historically. I feel like even when you're like hunter and gatherer type of person, or back in those days, I feel like you need rest. I was talking to someone, I think on Dave's live or video on the chat. I was talking to someone who started a new job doing something that requires a lot of precision, and they chose to take their lunch break in the car, and other people just ate at the desk and continued and whatever. And I'm like, no, especially when you're having to be so accurate because it was a medical field place, you need that rest. People, and so it kind of dawned on me, kind of hit me like, we don't rest our brain, and we're not realizing how inefficient we are, how it's we're not reactive, we're not like making not only good decisions, but our brain isn't just working well. And we're like, I'll sleep tomorrow, I'll sleep in tomorrow, I'll sleep in during the weekend, or this or that. And it's not just about the sleep hours and the sleep quality. I mean, that's primarily, but it's also, I feel like, social reset. So, like, socializing with people. There's a lot of buckets that are missing in our lives that we're kind of taking for granted. And I think that can lead to this burnout where, we kind of are less able to care for others, because even though we think we're just like taking care of ourselves and we're doing it, we're not really taking care of ourselves enough. So we don't have enough to give to others as well. And to problems like, tackling world hunger. So things are slipping under the radar and just becoming worse. So when I say, like, I think we've become complacent and we've been like sleeping on ourselves or whatever, I don't mean necessarily by choice or like by like, oh, we're just like, living it up here. That is also when you're like burned out. Like, that's just my personal experience now, that's kind of teaching me, when you're not in a good place, um like, you just can't care for others, like, or like take on social issues and go and fight the fight, and be better and do better and fight for better and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of a combination of what's happening, and the people that are in less fortunate areas and circumstances, obviously, it's just compounding for them. So yeah. And sometimes I think there are people who also, like, the multimillionaires and stuff, some of them have gotten greedy and indeed complacent from a place of greed and um selfishness. So, you have like the whole gamut of things, I think. I don't know. I don't know. These are just my theories. I don't know. But it is really sad and scary and demoralizing when there's this kind of news and all sorts of different things. I'm gonna feel bad when I can't finish my food, man. This is crazy. Yeah, don't feel bad. One of the things that I'm working on is, putting less on my plate, because I know for sure, like, oh no, welcome, Maria, don't worry. Just talking about work and work hours. Sorry, I'm like that was a crazier maneuver than I thought. And just not working too much, and how we burn out. Yeah, I would say more than halfway through, Maria. But yeah. Yeah, only two more topics. Pope and Blake Lively. I mean, oh, what kind of topics? I do want to cover this Pope situation, and it kind of goes with what we're talking about. I do have the other one, oh gosh, that I really want to cover too. Oh my gosh, so many things, so little time, like literally so little time. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. So I was watching this YouTuber, Alexandra. That's probably not how she pronounces her name. Alexandra Abia, or yeah, I don't know if I pronounce any of that right. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I was like, I get excited and I stop breathing. Yeah. Okay, so I was watching her because I've believed in this, and this is also what inspired me to get you guys that link to Viome. I really believe in how weight loss is, and weight gain and weight management and all that stuff, and bloating and all this stuff is related. There's a root cause that's not just counting calories. I never believed in counting calories. I was um, not grateful. I was lucky enough to be part of a community, Results with Lucy, that's now Results Wellness Lifestyle, or just RWL. And I'm trying to get a link for you, any of you. But yeah, so they were saying like, no, not all calories are the same. A calorie from chocolate bar is not the same as a calorie from a strawberry or whatever. And really, what I think that means is, yeah, it technically is the same calorie, but the way that food processes in your system is different, and it processes differently. It turns into something different. Like a fruit calorie also includes, I mean, 1 calorie probably doesn't include much of anything in anyone, but like it also includes like vitamins, minerals, other nutrients, etc., etc., other parts, other DNA stuff or whatever. I don't know, DNA, what, I don't know. Anyway, so I started watching her videos. I didn't know how many videos she had. I think I started with this, or I don't know what video I started with. And she talks about this, and since yesterday, watched her videos yesterday or Saturday. I started adding a lot more fiber to my diet. And boy, I was not, first of all, I was staying away from bread because bread, evil, we don't want bread. Some people for the carbs, for me, it was like, oh, wheat and wheat gluten, and, everyone's sensitive, and GMO and this and that, and just stay away from all the wheat. But I discovered, I'm like, you know what? Let me try. I tried the sourdough from Whole Foods. It was enriched flour, which I would personally stay away from, but it's impossible to find not enriched flour bread. But it was sourdough and it's very basic ingredients. And yeah, it was the heritage grain one. And then I also got that and the Mount Athos. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. Athos would be in Romanian. I got those two this past Sunday, but the previous Sunday I just got the first one. And I was like, oh, you know what? I feel more satiated. I am not more bloated than usual, and I think I'm actually, this is good. I had done toast just on and off throughout the week, and then this week since Sunday I started just. I didn't feel like toasting because also we didn't have butter, and I'm trying to not do butter because I forgot that I have cholesterol that I need to manage. So so yeah, I just had a sandwich with olive oil instead of butter and dill, and then deli stuff from, which is processed. It's not great, but I'm trying my best, from Trader Joe's. And the roast beef and the like salami thing, the applewood salami, I don't know, which are minimally processed and minimal ingredients. No nitrites, whatever. And this morning I woke up not hungry. I went to bed not hungry, and I didn't overeat, and I was super satiated. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Today I really tried to get, and also fruit, and I tried to get a lot of fiber today. I'm trying to get to 70 grams of fiber. But 50 is like my first go to, but really realizing after today, I think 20 or 30 is like the first step, because too much fiber too fast, like it can really screw me up. So like with indigestion. So, you know, but she talks so much. So I will link her videos below. I also started thinking like, oh, I'll just put the links in the chat, because that's also easy in that moment. But yeah, highly recommend listening to her talk about. She's a medical student, so this is not just like a YouTuber that's just talking about whatever. She was inspired after watching a speaker or having a class, or maybe in one class having a lecture on obesity linked to the gut, basically, and GLP-1, that is Ozempic and whatever's. She talks about how that's just we can naturally make that in our system if we eat the right way and do the right things, like having enough fiber. So slowing down, but also like pushing things out at the same time, and cleaning the gut. And so, yeah, I was inspired. And so we'll see how long this lasts. But I really believe in this. Like, I really do. But it's just like, it's so hard to stick to something, you know? I don't know. Anyways, during one of her videos, I came across this. Also, well, the first thing that I mentioned, so I lied, three things instead of two things: Pope, Blake Lively, and nutrition stuff. Through her video, I found out that sauerkraut's origin is Chinese. I did not know that. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I think I heard something about it, but yeah, did not know that. It was said to have, or like archaeology, discovery, whatever, records show that it was something maybe in like 2nd century BC, ancient China, fermented cabbage and rice wine around 2nd century, and then it just spread through the Mongols into Eastern Europe and then became German tradition. I know it in Romanian we have sauerkraut a lot. We call it varză murată. Murat is the process of souring something, fermenting vegetables. So that's how I know it. But yeah, and originally probably it was called what was it? Oh shoot, what was it? Oh, made Sai. Huh. I thought it was something else, but yeah. Anyways, Thai, something like that, is vegetables. I did learn Chinese for a second. Taiwanese Mandarin Chinese, because that's the one that sounded the nicest to me. Yeah, you're welcome, Maria. So yeah, so that was the first thing. I'm like speeding through this. The second thing that made me feel like I want to do more like not instructional videos, but learn with, not learn with me, because who am I? I'm not really presenting you anything as a expert, but just things that I find curious, because I really like learning just random things. So the sauerkraut thing being one, but more so like the deeper investigative thing. So this came on as an ad to, excuse me, one of her videos. And then when I went to open the links for this live today, it came again: Black Girl Vitamins. And I mean, the ad itself, I wish I could go back to the ad. The ad itself feels like Pleasantville. I don't know who created this ad, but it has this like that Pleasantville note to it. I'm like, is this a real ad, or is this like an SNL kind of ad? There's that kind of quality. Whoever directed it or edited it or whatever, I don't know, maybe that was what they were going for. It was just kind of odd. But it made me think about this, because there's a lot of talk about, and I had to fight with ChatGPT to actually get actual, or like accurate information based on what I was searching for. Different ethnicities have different predispositions to different diseases and health issues. But there's a common way to talk about that, which is just kind of statistics on today, just like not taking into consideration the difference between genetics, like something biologically, genetically different, like you have a different, not chromosomes, gene, like a different gene or a gene mutation. And then there's the way of, factoring in the environmental aspects as well, which is what usually people talk about. So like African Americans are typically known to have higher risks for diabetes and oh gosh, where was it? 'Cause it was like fighting with and hypertension, and I was like, this is I went down such a deep dive hole, rabbit hole with ChatGPT. I'm like, this is not the information we have, not the same understanding of the information I'm trying. Like, what is the um because like it can because the way that the ad was saying like um I don't know if they use the word African American because, yeah, so there's the predispositions that are genetic. Those are not genetic predispositions. Those are actually in Africa, like sub Saharan African populations. Those are quite low compared to a lot of different other regions of the world. But in the US specifically, those are really high. And that's because of the environmental factors, lack of proper nutrition sources, economic issues, so many different things that lead to US based African Americans to, sorry, I'm like, that's kind of redundant the way I said that, to eat not the best things because they don't have the resources. They don't have there's like the huge studies of how different neighborhoods have different grocers and different accessibility to healthy fresh foods and all these things. So, and then the culture to it and all that stuff. So I might do this a different video because it is getting late and I want to cover the other ones that I'm more known for. But I really have so many notes and I got so deep into this. I'm gonna try to zoom fast through some of the information, just like the one that stood out. So, what sub-Saharan African populations do have genetically a risk towards is sickle cell disease, um and it's so like, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just so excited because I'm like, this is so cool. I mean, it's not cool, it's not a nice happy topic, but it's so like science. It's so cool. So they have more predisposition for sickle cell disease. However, because they have this HBS sickle cell trait, but that trait also offers some protection for malaria, but increases anemia risk. But that malaria, that's a common issue in that region, in those regions. So it makes sense why they developed that genetic predisposition, even though it took from them something else. Um, Europeans, gosh, I found out that Romanians specifically have this, like, again, I started looking, and I told ChatGPT, just give me the genetic predispositions, not environmental factors. And still, even with that, lactose intolerance and iron overload and thalassemia, thalassemia in Romanian, um, and hypercholesterol and something else, a specific cancer that's like predisposed. I thought there was something else there, but okay, never mind. Anyway, so there's like and it breaks it down, and I mean, ideally I would be so curious personally. I'm not gonna overload you guys with this, but I would be so curious um for specific ethnicities. To me, ethnicity is like a country size region, more or less, um, or just countries in general, like the French. The French are specific to the populations that have been there for so many thousands of years. They're a combination, like the Germans, but more or less, they have certain predispositions, certain genetic traits and factors because of where they are, because of the people that lived on that land for so many centuries. Same, so it's not like this might get me in trouble. I don't believe I don't subscribe to the idea of race, where it's because my understand again, maybe I don't know, I don't understand that word, but what I've learned that word to mean is basically just skin color and kind of region, but it's really more like skin color ish. I believe in more ethnicity driven and then also like continental places. So like the European continent, but also then the ethnicities inside. Like Northern Europe has very different genetics than like Southern Europe. Same with like Africa and Asia and the US, in the US, Americas, the North America, South America. North America is kind of like, well, its own thing. I don't know. It's a combination, but not so much of what it used to be, unfortunately. So like the Native Americans, but also like Americans, because it's such a melting pot. It's created its own genetic stuff. So yeah, so I don't know. I started going down this rabbit hole. That's all I wanted to. Well, I wanted to say a lot more. I have all these notes, but that's all I'm going to say for this particular segment. So yeah, but check her out, and maybe I'll continue on a day that there's not much to say. I'll continue with the other stuff. All right. Let me like cross over to cross things out. All right. Pope. Sorry, that was like loud. So I came across this news. I love kimchi and sauerkraut. Yeah, I love sauerkraut. Viome told me to avoid sauerkraut though because I have some bioflatular situation. I don't know, pathways, something. I don't know. Even though sauerkraut and kimchi are great probiotics, right now it told me to avoid them. But I can eat like regular cabbage. So, I mean, that's how specific Viome gets, like with the foods and things. It's really cool. It's not every single food ingredient ever, but it's a lot. I came across this and I was like, oh, what? This is crazy. Sky News Australia reported or made this video that the Pope Leo 14 says marriage is between a man and a woman, and it caused an LGBTQ plus community meltdown. When did IA, and I mean, I am absolutely ignorant right now. I'm sorry for it. I don't know what IA stands for. And I don't know when it came into the picture, because last I heard was LGBTQ plus, but now it's LGBTQIA plus. And not to be rude, isn't that the reason of the plus, to have other letters, other things? I don't know. Anyways, but I didn't look this up because I had a lot of other things that I was like looking through and stuff and gathering, but I'll look it up, I guess. But I have no idea what IA stands for. So the news, and I got really upset at this video because it started.
The 14th celebrated with a ceremony in Rome over the week. TQIA plus relationships, which is between a man and a woman. This position is a far cry from the former Pope's blessing of LGBTQIA plus relationships, which is sending liberal Catholics into a tailspin.
Concerned about this choice for the LGBTQ plus community. In 2012, he gave an address to bishops, and he lamented the popular culture fostered and sympathy for beliefs and practices that are at odds with the gospel, and that's a quote. And then he cited the homosexual lifestyle and alternative families comprised of same-sex partners and their adopted children. I think that Pope Francis certainly made...
Anyways, yeah. So, but I was like, oh, wow, that's like a strong statement, blah, blah. That's all he had.
Liberal online commentators blasted the Pope for his views, with this person saying, "I do think it's fairly tragic that the new Pope has regressive views on gender and sexuality."
Which we don't know yet. I want to make that clear he might, and he seems like he did in 2012, but that was 2012, and we've gone through a lot, so I don't know. And the reason I say that, because I started going down the rabbit hole for this. I'm like, whoa, that's big. And also I got really upset at this because they quote all these other people on Twitter, on whatever, but they don't show him saying anything. And I even said, or one of the places even said that he said so in his inaugural speech. So I watched the speech. I don't know if I watched the right speech, but I watched one speech, and nowhere did he say that. And I was like, if he says this, then what he said in his speech is so contradictory to this, or vice versa, and is also why I stopped being religious, honestly, especially Christian, because it was a direct conflict. He talks in his speech about basically unity, and literally says, oh gosh, I didn't have the beginning of this phrase, but something accepting or valuing or something, che non annulla le differenze ma valorizza huh, la storia personale di ciascuno. Wow. I need to relearn Italian. So like he was saying, not that it shouldn't annul the differences, but value the personal history of each person and the social and religious cultures of every people. And he also says something, sorry, let me like go to that part. I think this is this? No, this is from May 17th. Just go away. I think it was, where is it on this? I don't know. Excuse me, sorry. I think it was on this guy, which I'll get to him, that I finally heard, because for some reason I didn't hear it in that first clip, that it was something that he had said supposedly, or retweeted or liked or something in 2012. I forget what they just said it. I think he said it. So yeah, but I think I put it.
Ciascuno e la cultura
Yeah.
perché siamo chiamati a offrire a tutti l'amor di Dio, perché si realizzi quell'unità che non annulla le differenze, ma valorizza la storia personale di ciascuno e la cultura sociale e religiosa di ogni popolo. Se nel mondo non cesserebbe subito ogni dissidio e non tornerebbe forse la pace? Con la luce e la forza dello Spirito Santo costruiamo una Chiesa fondata sull'amore di Dio e segno di unità, una Chiesa missionaria che apre le braccia al mondo, che annuncia la parola, che si lascia inquietare dalla storia e che diventa lievito di concordia per l'umanità. Insieme, come unico popolo, come fratelli tutti, camminiamo incontro a Dio e amiamoci a vicenda tra di noi.
But I think all the
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was like, oh, I hate ads. Please wait indefinitely with the ads. I thought it was something else, but I guess I didn't get it right. He says, I think it was this. This is the English version.
Is the hour of in the social and religious culture. And we are called to offer God's love to everyone in order to achieve that unity that doesn't cancel our differences, but values the personal history of each person and the social and religious culture of every people. Brothers and sisters, this is the hour of love. The heart of the gospel is the love of God that makes us brothers and sisters.
I wanted to point out that the producer, not the cameraman, the producer of this was on it in every language, because I don't know if he did this in the other one. I guess it was just in English, but he or she decided to cut to JD Vance as he said, "This is the hour of love." It's like, hear that? Hear that? He's not gonna hear that. Anyways, he also says, maybe it's
With my predecessor, Leo XIII, we can ask ourselves today, if this criterion of love were to prevail in the world, would not every conflict cease and never return?
anyways, yeah. Yes. And I'm not going to be religious. I'm not going to be Catholic. And I do have issues with certain things, like why does it have to be through a Christian God or through God? And I don't like that idea. It just doesn't click in me. It just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if it's trauma around just what people have done with the word God and with the concept of God and with religion, or it's just not it. But because I used to be definitely spiritual and definitely believer of, I would call it the universe, but like a God entity. Um, So, yeah, I even said here, when I listen to this, I find it even less credible because at the beginning, or there's like parts where he says that, it's through walking with God that, this happens. But then he also says something really interesting. And I kind of said that, already kind of said the first part, which is honoring, valuing each personal history, social, religious culture, etc. He says, sorry, and I do want to talk about, or say this. He talks about the Greek love verb agapao. Sorry, agapao. I love this. I don't know all the different verbs, but there are different verbs for love that mean different types of love in Greek, and I feel like that is so cool, so cool. But yeah, like only in the love of God will you be able to love your brothers, and this I'm like, okay, not something I subscribe to, but all right. But then he says also, it's never a question of capturing others by force or by religious propaganda or by means of power. And I'm like, I guess preach. Like, who says that? Because he's also talking about spreading the gospel and like, the idea, or he says things that recall the idea of like saving people through missionary work, through converting people. But the way that he included that part too, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not all that gloom and doom. And then he uses the word autocrat. Peter must shepherd the flock without ever yielding to the temptation to become an autocrat, lording over those entrusted to him. Don't really know what that means, but I know that that could be used for a lot of the leaders in the world right now. And then coexistence of diversity, harmony of spirit, and we still see so much discord, too many wounds caused by hatred or violence or prejudice or the fear of difference or an economic paradigm that exploits the resources of the earth and marginalizes those who are poorest. I mean, that alone is such a good message. Does he have the same kind of air that Pope Francis did? Maybe I'm different. Maybe he's different. Maybe both are true. Maybe it's just a different time, because I don't feel like that he has that same charisma or that same air. But I mean, I've actually didn't plan on watching this. I'm glad that I watched it. I think just these little sound bites, I know there are sound bites, and I'll include the links in the description at the end. You can watch it in Italian. I'm pretty sure they have it in every language. I don't know. Definitely in Italian and English. I'm guessing also in Spanish. Um, but yeah, like there's a lot of good messages and of like my core, um, and what I'm about. And so, yeah, I don't, there's also a lot that I don't match with, but I think we need this message more and more and more to be loud, whether it's you're Catholic or whatever religion or whatever non-religion or whatever you are. I feel like we need to really have, like kind of like a vision board or a motto that we kind of have to remind us every day to live in that spirit um of love and also like realizing what is and what we're trying to get away from, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense. um but I don't know, to me that this particular phrase, it's not like, oh, a reminder of what I need to do or whatever. It's more like a reminder of what is, that also can create in your mind like what should be instead. This, we still see so much discord, too many wounds caused by hatred or violence or prejudice. Like it, like I, to me at least, it calls into me or recalls into me in me um the love that is afraid to show up or dormant. Or if you're aware of, I forget the name of it, but this psychology theory or system, family systems, I think it's called. And so like the inner child, that's where that comes from. And then you have different other people in you. One is the firefighter. The firefighter is the one that actually creates fires and attacks. It's one of the instigators in order to protect the inner child. So like things like that, it calls to mind for me. So yeah, I don't know. I just really wanted to share that because one of the things we don't like on here is fake news or not undocumented news, not well researched or whatever news. This guy, for example, he has a very different kind of take to it.
And practices that are at odds with the gospel and cited the homosexual lifestyle. He has since said that the church needs to be more open and welcoming. Sociology professor Gary Adler.
He's going to be talking, I think, about these most difficult issues with a voice that is confident but also welcoming.
One thing to keep.
So it's like, whatever you want to hear right now, you'll hear. Whatever you want to think, you'll think. And this guy's basically saying that. He's funny and he's pretty cool. I don't think we agree on a lot of things because I think he is a lot more.
Welcome to the Father Leo Show, where I am dishing out faith.
Traditional and stuff. But the first thing that I thought was, let's take a moment to like realize how crazy awesome this is, as much as like, oh, religion, whatever. But like, priests are, I think he's a priest. Priests are on social media, on YouTube, having a YouTube channel. I've been seeing this a lot lately, like this message for people, like be a creator. Doesn't matter what, like you're respectfully and for love ideally and for good, but be a creator, put your mark out there, do your thing, try things out, whatever. We just talked at the beginning, it can be so unsafe. It can be very unsafe. It can honestly be unsafe just in general, unfortunately, in today's world. But yeah, once you put yourself out into the public, people can find you and people can wish ill on you and can like threaten you and can do other ugly things. But it's also to that point of try to find safety in numbers, and then also in a way, don't let fear stop you from being a voice of good in the world. But anyway, so I'm like, I don't know. But a side note to this, I was like, how cool is this? As much as I don't like religion and I probably disagree with most of the things he says, I don't know. Definitely I would get triggered by watching him, but I did watch this. And he has some pretty cool things to say and also warns against taking your news without critically thinking.
Wrong on so many levels, so let's just jump right into it. But before I'm seeing your English, these shouldn't ask the question, and
He even
hopefully
has a Patreon. This is just
feed you
awesome.
body, mind, and soul. Did Pope Leo dismiss the gay community? Because we clearly know Pope Francis did not. So there's a Sesto. What's interesting is that gives
That
the
thing is so
address
cool and so creepy
there
at the
in
same time,
front
isn't
of
it?
the resurrected Christ. And he was talking particularly to journalists. And what's interesting is that journalists who are promoting this story that Pope Leo dismissed the gay flag in the gay community, you can see that there is fake news. I'll explain. Okay, so there he is.
So I guess this all kind of started mostly from this video of him seemingly ignoring the gay LGBTQ plus flag. And he goes on, this guy, the father, whatever his name is, what Father Leo show, which is ironic. He also, I also said about Father Leo, I said the phrase "they let anyone on this platform" never felt more positive, because I'm glad that he's on this platform. I'm glad that he was led, but also that he, and apparently there's more out there, took that initiative. He then says that this is the peace flag. It's not the LGBTQ plus gay pride flag. However, I don't feel like it's either, because that's not pace written on there. It's not even peace. I can't really even tell what is on that flag. What is written on it? It's like SA. Oh shoot. Darn this, like, YouTube. Sorry, I'm like, I get very investigative. So, what is on that flag? VSA? I don't know, but it's not pace, it's not peace. I don't know. Maybe it was in a different language. But that's, I hate to go in and out of this, but he says that it's this flag, for example, pace, and that it was first used in Italy in the Peace March in 1961, and I think he says that's probably, or he says that it is why it became the LGBTQ plus or gay pride flag as well, because it's a peace flag, it's a peace symbol. But yeah, that wasn't, so maybe it was like this, like it was written in like a different language. Yeah, anyways, so that's like the first thing. It would be really, and he says this too, it would be really weird if the Pope ignored the peace flag, which that was, especially after talking about peace. And then and then he shows that again, this minute.
Well, you're going to say, Father Leo, you obviously do.
Yeah.
Who actually watches this show? Well, you're going to say, Father Leo, you obviously do. I do not. These are just news feeds or clips that come on. And honestly, that was like 2 minutes of my brain being wasted listening to these women who are almost self-proclaimed theologians. Sunny Hostin claiming she is a faithful Catholic. And again, this is a...
I already love him. I don't know. I love him. I know, like, I don't really like that side of me that's making fun of people or whatever, but I don't know. Just something about a priest just saying that his brain cells or brain was wasted for the 2 minutes or however many watching a talk show host talk is just priceless to me, and it's funny. Um, but yeah, he says that, and he also points out that later, I guess, she kind of it basically he tries to point out the selectiveness of this newscaster or whatever you would call her.
But then Sunny Hostin changes her tune as soon as she finds out one unique thing about this Pope Leo.
Also, very interesting to me because President Trump, as you remember, called Haiti a certain type of country. As it turns out, our new American Pope has Haitian and Black roots. So we actually have a Black Pope. Apparently, it's like chef's kiss for me. So apparently, both of his maternal grandparents are described as Black, Haitian, or mulatto in several census documents. And on their marriage license, the grandfather's birth place is Haiti, listed as Haiti. Her birthplace is listed as born in New Orleans. They were identified as people of color, but in 1920, when they migrated to Chicago, the census reflected their race as white.
So I'm loving everything
So
about
I'm loving.
this Pope. Let me tell you.
Okay, so they only love the Pope now because he has blood in him from Haitian roots, or so Black people roots. You can see that this identity politics is what's actually creating division. They're going to love his blood, but they hate his position. It's almost like people getting very excited that a new pope has been elected, but they choose not to listen to him. They get caught up in the emotion of the day, but then as soon as he starts teaching the Catholic faith, people are going to dismiss him. Now here's why I'm bringing this up, because guess what? You and I could be faithful Catholics or faithful Christians, and we might not like the things that Pope Leo or Pope Francis is saying. So how do we approach this from a Catholic point of view?
Anyways, whatever. I mean, I'll include the link. But the things that I wanted to highlight from this, because it's getting late, and I promised before midnight, and we're going to pass midnight, but not by much, because I have a lot on Blake, but not that much, if that makes sense. I'll probably come back on tomorrow or Wednesday, and like dive into the filings of Blake Lively. Because some are not, or at least when I started this live, they were not all available to me. But for all of those, for sure, always check Lauren, because she pays for Pacer, and make sure to donate to her Pacer fund if you are able to help her out with that. But yeah, he mentions this identity politics creating division. He also mentions marriage is the union of two people who are distinct. What binds them together is the sacrament of love. And I'm like, I feel like not historically. I feel like marriage technically was the purchase of power or power. Like, whether it was economical issues, like, survival. It was like a survival thing. It wasn't for love. But anyways, so this whole thing, men and a woman, that is also historically makes sense as far as breeding, populating the earth, making more humans. But then why isn't everyone like that? And I feel like I believe that biologically not everyone is like that, and I think it makes sense too. There's animals as well that are they also have homosexuality in them. So anyways, that's just my personal stance or belief or whatever. I get confused at one point when he says something that, like, oh, you might be confused if we and then he says, when he says we'll be confused if we don't pray for the new pope, and I'm like, what? But that might be some inside thing that Catholics or really like Christians know what that means. I don't know. But anyways, so basically, I liked his take that don't just believe what you hear. And also that he pointed out not only, hey, like, we don't actually know his official stance on gay marriage or anything like that, or what marriage is, or LGBTQ plus community. We saw in that other video, he didn't, but we saw it in the other video that it is said that he has changed or has evolved his opinion since 2012. But what he says, this is something that, like, it does get to me. Like, again, I'm still learning, and I know there's a deep history of a lot of just horrible history in the US as far as racism and stuff like that. And I get when people have been hurt deeply and not culturally, generationally. So, it's that deep wound that's not healed, that's like really, in there. And also, it's not like everything just went away and everything is fine now. Racism still exists and all that. I do have this issue, whether it's about, because I don't hear that and think like it's only about that. I think that, like, when I hear something like that, like, oh, but I love him because he has Haitian roots. I love him or her, whatever, if you think of, because he supports Justin, or because of this, or because of that. No. I have like a huge problem, and I don't have like the best words right now to explain why that just like scratches my brain. That's a Romanian phrase, I feel like. It just like it's just not right. It's not that it's hypocritical. It's not hypocritical. There's another word. Um and the whole thing, like, oh, he's a black pope because he has, you know, was it maternal grandparents that were mulatto, which is not even, that's like mixed race, mixed like black with it could be with indigenous people, with white, I don't know, from the Haitian, community, the not community, oh my gosh, I'm talking like all of these people, region, the Central American region. But yeah, I I don't know, it just like feels so not selfish. What's the word I'm looking for? I think it's just in that same idea of selective morality. I don't think maybe that's the best phrase or term, but that selective like for people, selective morality, selective kindness, selective compassion, selective support. That's what bothers me about that, about her take on it. It's great to celebrate that he has those roots. I don't like where she took it after that. I don't like the selectiveness. He called it identity politics and creating division. Yeah, because that was also my first thought, thinking like, that's not unifying. Like, especially after hearing, because I heard the other videos first, after hearing the Pope say like, hey, like, let's unify, let's, open our arms to everyone regardless of their religion or cultural or culture, or excuse me, personal history or beliefs or whatever. Going from that to this, like, ooh, but this is one of us, or ooh, or this is like one of those people, or like, oh, this, he's special because of this, is like, the guy was just talking about basically going away from that, going into not dividing ourselves into different groups, but unifying. So like, you're just like missing the point. Missing the point. Anyways, so that's yeah, I don't know. Finally, Blake Lively. I like this guy though. I don't know. I might just watch him just for the heck of it. He might be really triggering for me, but I don't know. I wanted this table, by the way, but yeah, it's a it was supposed to be an IKEA table, but I don't know what that is for. So I pulled up Dave Neal's Perez Hilton. It's so weird. I was talking to someone else during this whole time he was recording. I could have just watched it, but oh my gosh, so many things. I thought it was on his YouTube channel, but it wasn't. There's this Without Crystal Ball released some I mean, she releases so many crazy videos, but this is the one I watched the Insiders. She mentioned, well, she mentioned a lot. I pulled out something else, but she mentioned that original Reddit post. You guys probably have seen it and have seen her video. And then she also mentioned some other posts that kind of also second that original post and second the general consensus from the so-called the crew or friends of crew or whatever, that are basically all saying like Blake was the problem, not Justin, and a bunch of other things. But she has this one, which I was going to watch before this live, but I didn't. Sorry, I'm getting the hiccups again. I think this one's based on the filings from today in Lawrence. Sorry. Gosh, I hate when YouTube unloads. Like, it needs to just keep being loaded. You can watch this. She says basically she would find it shocking if the judge grants sanctions based on the reasons that they specify. But I love her title. I was like, it's getting exhausting. I'm like, yeah, that is the perfect title for this whole lawsuit situation. Lauren here, she talks about how I don't know. I feel like I want to really devote good time to these filings. So let's go to the other topics that I had from the weekend and to this Perez Hilton, because I do want to take my time and read. And yeah, although I don't know, I'm curious if they were granted a motion to seal these two, which is interesting because they're the only ones that were available. These are they got sealed. Well, I downloaded them before, and Lauren, I believe, read them online before. But yeah, interesting. It's interesting because what these were the reasoning that Blake's team was giving for requesting, sanctions. Oh no, this is for basically her trying to have them. Oh, which one is it? Oh my gosh, it's so confusing. She was trying to have them stop the investigation for the SH claims, and the firm just like came back. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Came back with like the best answers. I think this is what it was.
Harassment complaint made by Blake Lively. Now, Wayfair initiated this investigation
No, this
after
is
they
different.
learned of Blake Lively's sexual harassment complaints when she made her complaint to the CCRD in December 2024. Of note, there is absolutely no evidence else does not constitute a sexual harassment complaint. Includes exhibits that show correspondence between Blake Lively's attorneys and the firm that was hired to do the independent investigation into the supposed sexual harassment claims. They say a failure to investigate is unlawful, however, then they refuse to participate and complain that this investigation should not be happening at all. As far as whether or not this should be happening while there's pending lawsuit, the firm states the scope of...
Sorry, I'm trying to like keep this as like straight to the point as possible. Minute 3. Okay, so it's coming up.
Of our investigation includes whether Ms. Lively filed complaints and whether Wayfair failed to investigate them. Blake Lively's counsel says, Your efforts are misleading, and they threaten to taint witness evidence in the case, and they must stop immediately. Blake Lively says the firm's efforts are misleading, and they threaten to taint witness evidence in the case. In doing so, they accuse this firm of failing to disclose that their neutral investigation is paid for by Wayfair. They accuse them of misrepresenting their role and their relation to Wayfair. They wrote, "We hereby demand you immediately cease and desist from further pursuing this sham investigation and from contacting any additional witnesses as part thereof. Cease and desist from further pursuing this sham investigation." Wouldn't it have been nice for somebody from Wayfair to have been able to do that with the Van Zandt John Doe lawsuit? The firm doing the investigation writes back.
Sorry, she also says, I think she said it before, that Blake complains to Wayfair refusing to give her documents of this investigation, blah, blah, blah. And Lauren says that she can't say much to whatever. I didn't write that part down, but what I can tell you, this is a quote from Lauren, what I can tell you is that there was a lot of unnecessary mudslinging here, a lot of mischaracterization, and way too much protest from the woman who claims to have been SH'd but doesn't want to be interviewed about it, but does want to go on talk shows and declare herself a champion for women and girls' safety. I think it was right before that other part. And then they reply, and I'm like, this is the funniest. It feels, I commented on her. My response to this is, all these people, Wayfair, Brian Friedman, this firm, everyone is like the adult. They have this adult sounding tone and voice, while Blake Lively's side sounds like a spoiled little child. And as a spoiled child, supposedly, so people tell me, I wasn't a spoiled child in the sense of like I would like cry and like I want that, candy. Apparently my mom was like that. I don't remember doing that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I was an only child, but that's what she sounds like. She sounds like a little child. Like, look what they did to me. Look, I was scared because of them. They didn't do anything, but they did because they scared me because I was scared. I don't know. That didn't sound very well. Not much.
Your demand is baseless, procedurally improper, and substantively indefensible. You are undoubtedly aware that the approach we have taken reflects not only legal compliance, but standard workplace investigation practices. Your letter reflects a willful mischaracterization of our role and the protections afforded to such investigations. Your letter appears designed to obstruct a lawful process and chill the participation of witnesses who might otherwise assist in a fair, impartial fact-finding endeavor. We are not litigation counsel to Wayfair and do not operate under any litigation or public relations strategy. We conduct our work free from external pressures, including those arising from pending litigation. Your assertion that we have been bought and paid for is disingenuous. Your claim that our investigation is a sham designed to interfere with litigation is equally baseless. Your allegation that we have misrepresented ourselves to witnesses is not only factually incorrect, it is reckless. Your accusations appear aimed...
And she goes on, I'll link the video, of course, but like, they're just like annihilating her. Like, you're calling us baseless? And the stuff that they write in the other one that I'll cover, it's getting late, so I'll cover another time because it's like her video was an hour long, almost. It is, I think that's part of it. It is like just infuriating. And I didn't even hear all of it. I think you're right, Maria, that like it's like a PR goal so people would get tired and stop talking about this. I don't know that it's so focused on us to stop talking about it, or it's focused really, I think that's probably even better for them. But I think their basic goal, because I think this is what I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know if she always does this, but it feels at least like that narcissistic playbook that people talk about. That's part of it. Like, you kind of just badger someone until they just give up and give in. And I feel like, and I don't know if it's just narcissists really, just I feel like human, but the lack of awareness and the delusion that is in these filings and in the conversations, like literally the projection where they literally say what they do, but they say that Wayfair does it, and Wayfair has not really even said much. Wayfair has just been like quiet, and suddenly like they're just like smear campaigning, and look, they're still doing it, and they're not even saying anything. And one of the things that I thought was the reason why Brian Freeman didn't say what he said in the PR world, and even though it was still kind of, he knew that it would get into our eyes, he didn't know for sure, maybe because a lot of these don't make it. Sometimes like they can be sealed and stuff, but he he did that also because he would have been dragged for going to the news media. Meanwhile, they can do that. They do that on and off. Not on and off all the time. You know. But yeah, the projection, I think it was Crystal Ball or someone was saying how what they do, they're blaming, maybe it was is it not actually golden? Oh my gosh. I can't believe I just don't know her name. Shoot. Where's the video? Yeah, not actually golden. I almost said legally blonde. Oh my gosh. Can't believe it. Maybe it was her that said this. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, it's just like infuriating though that they are, that their PR, that WME, I think it was Crystal, without a crystal ball, because she was talking about the insiders. She was talking about how WME, there were a lot of WME not sponsored, represented actors in It Ends With Us, and how that wasn't a coincidence, and possibly because also Justin was a part of WME before all of this. He maybe had gotten like a nudge or pressure to get Blake Lively because she needed a rebrand, or like a, what did she say? She needed a what was it? A comeback. And so yeah, Sony and WME maybe wanted her. So maybe there was pressure on him to cast her. And then also that, yeah, it was her that Blake, if it's Blake's people, sorry, Blake's people might be afraid, but WME PR machine, or they say that they're afraid of the smear campaign or whatever. But WME PR machine is maybe more of the reason people are afraid. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Those were my thoughts. That's not what she said, but kind of. People might think that all these people that are not speaking out, all the crew members, etc., are not speaking out because they're afraid of Blake and Ryan. But it might be the WME PR machine, WME, what they might be afraid of. And because it's really, really, really powerful. And she claims or alleges or, I don't know, talks about how WME use bots. Sound familiar? Use bots and fake accounts and ramp up follower numbers, and even potentially astroturfing. And people believe that Blake's followers on Instagram probably is not the real number. And to me, I was like, it makes sense because she has very few comments of likes. And yeah, but likes and followers, she has many. So it makes sense. I worked for like an internship. I worked for a music company place thing. And I remember this was early days. And I remember them telling me to post comments, like reviews, as if I was, and like make different names and different accounts. This was like while on the job. and yeah, and post different reviews like this album was great or and whatever. And I was like, I can't lie, I can't make up things like that. I have no idea. And also, that's not in my moral limits. That's outside of my moral guidelines. And so absolutely that happens. Someone also said, I don't know if it was in her video or some other video, but they said that um everyone getting shocked on like smear campaigns and how PR people are talking about everyone and each other and all this stuff and what they do and what they can do and what they offer to do. um it's like everyone gets getting shocked by that. I think it was Jersey. But that's just like reality. Everyone does that, to one extent or another. Maybe there was, I think Jersey pointed out Justin's team didn't go with the worst case scenario, with the worst kind of PR moves. Maybe because of his faith, maybe because of who he is, or maybe because they didn't even get a chance to, because she did it all to herself. um but yeah, I stand by that. It's shocking to see in your face, to see these people talk the way they talk and the way that they think. But let's not pretend like Blake's team isn't doing that tenfold. So much more than Justin's team ever could, because she's been longer in this industry. Her reputation and image needs to be a lot more clean, a lot more clean. And she has a history of getting very upset, even if like a hair clip is left on her head that looks like it could have already been there, because it looked like just a hair clip, not like a makeup out of, hair out of the way for makeup clip. So yeah. um what Crystal Ball said, sorry, I'm gonna put you on this. Oh, this is so cringy, this is so cringy, this is so painful, this is so painful. Oh, sorry. All right.
You are actually the most polite actress I have ever met in my life. Also, I want to tell you that I've learned so much from you on set, and I feel like in just 1 month of set, it was just like making like 5 years of drama, because you made me grow up so much, and I love you like crazy. Like crazy.
I like the caption. Good boy, I won't see you now.
I'll give you the money for that later.
Yeah,
That was
thank
good.
you.
Good work. Good work.
It was 1,000.
I like that. He's not selling himself short. You wanted me to say good things about you? 1,000 euros or $1,000, because that might be more than she expects. Are we surprised? No, I don't think he was faking that. He might have been, but I don't think so. It makes me think of Isabella Ferrer, who talked about what Blake was doing for her, inviting her over, having her crash over at her penthouse, giving her clothing of her own closet or whatever. It makes me think of that. And the first thought I had when I heard that, I was like, oh, I think people call it grooming. I don't know if it's a technical term of grooming, but like, you are getting this person on your side. You're playing nice. You're showing them you're being charismatic. You're this is my impression, at least. Like, people can do that where they really know exactly how to treat you, for you to fall in love with them, for you to, and like, this is a case. I love that that's kind of weird to say, but I love that this is a case that's not um men and women per se. I mean, the lawsuit is, but like, and this is kind of that, but it's about friendship with Isabella, with Michele. It's about friendship, and I like that, just in the sense that we often think that people manipulating us, being charismatic, making us love them, manipulating us to love them, all this stuff is, we often just think about that in the romantic sense, but in friendship it happens as well. It can happen anywhere, in the workplace, with bosses, with people. I mean, I feel like not all the companies, but many of the companies, when they hired me, like, think about it. I think this is pretty standard. They tell you, we're the best, we're like family, we do this, we offer this, like, we want you, you're so great. They butter you up, and then, like, you know what, it's not working out. Bye. Get out today. Sometimes they'll let you stay longer, but almost never, you know. And they go cold and heartless, and it's like that with people too sometimes. And so I imagine, sorry, this is a weird place to stop. I imagine that this is very accurate. He talks a lot about how much, she's like his sister and they grew so close, and I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense. And she talks about this too, that even Ryan apparently sent him this letter, and just basically they were, I think, trying to, I think, potentially, allegedly, I'm alleging that, I'm not even alleging this, I'm theorizing, I'm hypothesizing. They knew that they were going to take some legal action, they were going to pursue things further. Because I still feel like the theory that they did this, or she did this to take over this movie so she had her own brand, like Deadpool with Ryan. I don't know if it was in this one or in Jersey Flaws or somewhere. Someone was saying over the weekend that um like she wanted to be like Taylor Swift and like Ryan, and I think it was in this one. And they are big people, they have strong brands, and they build those brands, and like it or not. And Ryan did what she's doing, but it didn't work for her because she doesn't know anything to do anything. She doesn't know to direct, to write, act. I do think she's a good actress, but she's not putting in the work, and she's not actually doing the work to act. But I think she could be potentially a great actress if she would stick to that lane, but she doesn't. She wants to be an author of her stuff, but then she also doesn't put in the work for that. To me, as someone who wants to become a director, excuse me, it's mind-boggling to have all those people that are within your reach, that you could call up, that you could have just talking sessions, like, how do you do, can I shadow you on your movie, can I do this, here are questions to ask you, etc., etc. She doesn't do that. She just tries to hijack movies, so allegedly. So yeah, but anyways, but yeah, I think they potentially could have been preparing. They thought, like, we need someone on our side, we need to show the world, we need to show the public that we don't hate, that Blake doesn't hate all men, that is just Justin. So she buddied with Brendan Sklenar. She's like, oh, I love you, see, I don't have problem with men, it's just Justin. Same thing with Michaelis. See, I don't have problems with men, it's just Justin. Something's wrong with Justin because I don't like him. And so it means, because I don't like him, even though I don't think that it was one or another that she liked him or not. I think she just wanted the movie, theory. But yeah, I think they kind of, or she, whoever, like, the idea was to have this image, so the people couldn't say, like, oh, she just is against men, she just hates men, she has problems with men, men have problems with her, etc., etc. She needed to have certain men on her side. Yeah, that's my theory as far as Michele and Brendan Sklenar. Who has heard of Brendan Sklenar, by the way? He's kind of been out of the loop for a while.
About what happened behind the scenes on It Ends With Us, as those that worked on, of the amount of evidence that is in this case. And I'm talking like mountains of evidence that Wayfair and Justin have. And
this is exactly how a bra for women over 50 should be.
I can't even,
it's super comfortable.
Can't even mute it. Oh, goodness.
Because of how difficult Miss Blake was, and they knew that this might be coming. So to say they're prepared is an understatement. And I want to just start this off by saying this comes from someone that and
I'll just say what she says. So it comes from two sources in this video, a source that does not want to be identified or revealed or anything that's even close to it, that worked on the set, and then also Crystal Cornelson, who worked for Wayfair for 4 years as a producer and director, did not work for It Ends With Us. And she said that the guys at Wayfair never push their faith. They are very straight laced, and that he's married and would never cross any boundary beyond that. Like, he respects that he's married. And he's more passive and appeasing, and she's more domineering, did she say? I don't know. So, yeah, not a surprise that this went this way, I guess. But according to this person, Crystal Cornelson. But yeah, that it's just not even close. Like, her working with these people, like, not even close to what Blake Lively is describing. And then I don't know if both sources or reminded her of this, or the one that actually worked on the set. But basically what that source said that worked was very similar to this. It wasn't the same person, but very similar to this one, if you remember back in the day. That Blake felt that Justin made her uncomfortable on set. One instance is particularly, they said she looks like, anyway, I'm not going to reread this because it gets like crazier. Gets a lot crazier. And so Crystal Ball's interpretation was that she tried to erase everything from Wayfair and insert her own people into the movie, which is in that narcissistic handbook kind of thing. Or just really like being a company and stuff. But yeah, that's just so messed up. And also in Brianna's video with how Ryan got Deadpool franchise all to himself, that was what he did. So Crystal Ball continues to say she lies so much, so hard to keep up. Like, no, sorry, she didn't say this. Her source said this. She lies so much that it's so hard to keep up or distinguish what's true and what's not, and everything can be used against you. And then that she, like, really, there's like little to no truth. Like, you just don't know what's true, if anything is true. She just says things to benefit her, or like kind of pathologically adamant about the person, the insider, adamant about no sexual harassment, that cameras never stopped rolling in between takes because Blake was changing things so much. One of the things that was, I don't know if it was from the Reddit post or from, oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. So not only did she, did she change, scripts and things? This is one of the post, a Reddit post comments on another post. I have no doubt Blake thought it was harassment. Justin thought they had a level of intimacy they didn't, which people might misunderstand that, thinking, oh, so he was flirty with her. He was like coming on to her. I don't think that's what they meant by this. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think what they're saying is that, they were like having banter, and they were friendly, and he felt like they both understood there was nothing of the sort of like romantic or sexiness or whatever. For example, calling her sexy. She didn't want to wear a costume the costume designer had picked out. She would bring her own outfits from home and delay production for hours on this particular day, which was, doesn't mean that this isn't also a day, because they might have had this issue a number of times. On this particular day, they were far behind. She put on something from home. He said something like, I'm not sure, it looks a little frumpy.
She didn't want to wear a costume that
sorry. She got very offended, then seeing that he made her mad and production was going already in delay. He said no, it's great. You look sexy. And then she said sexy, and that wasn't good enough either. And it's all stuff like that. She was looking at it through a lens. He thought they were closer than they were. Um, Downvote away. I really don't care. And before you come at me, I agree. The PR women texts were awful. This was like months ago. The thing with this is that, yeah, Crystal Ball also says the sexy comment in both lawsuits, or in his lawsuit, and the whole video, it was like related to, not the video, sorry, another video, but that same day. Um, and how like she herself wanted to look more sexy and she used that word. And I'm sorry, but I don't care. I don't care. Same thing. Downvote me, whatever. Um, I don't care what people people think, but I stand strongly behind this. If you use the word sexy or whatever word, if you invite someone while you're breastfeeding into your trailer one time, in let's say it was another time, because we don't know if it was another time or the same time that she's relating to. If you set that tone, you set that tone. It is your responsibility to set your own boundaries, especially if you set them. Now, if you're just reacting, that could be a little bit more gray area, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think in her case, but a lot of people, if there's like a power imbalance, et cetera, cool. But if you're not reacting and you're setting the tone from the beginning, that's just all 100% on you. Now, this is not the same thing as, oh, well, she was asking for it because she was dressed a certain way. Not the same thing. She's probably going to use that kind of thought process. Not the same thing. Calling someone sexy, I mean, it depends on how you call it, but like, based on what we know, it wasn't in the sleazy way. And inviting someone, and like someone asking, knocking on your door to see if they can come in while you're breastfeeding. A, they might not have known if it was a different time than when she invited them. And B, like, they freaking knocked on your door. They didn't just barge in. So anyways, whatever. But I believe this too, and again, I it might be different sexy moments. But I kind of believe that she would bring her own outfits. If this is true, though, that she was delaying production for hours because of costume changes on the day of, I mean, I don't think it matters much to this lawsuit, but like, it's just horrible. I would not want to work with her. I'm no one. I wish that I had like Taylor Swift power, but in Hollywood, and just not blackball her, but I would never want to work with her. I mean, already I don't want to work with her, but yeah. Um, and so they were saying that because of these things, she was changing script all the time. We also have seen that in his lawsuit. Because of that, they never stopped rolling in between takes, because she would like just move his head a certain way. Like, she would direct him in the middle of the scene, just move his head a certain way because she wanted it that way. And we saw that in the dancing video, that she's like, oh, the light is behind you, or behind us, or whatever. He's like, yeah, I want it that way. And she's like, oh my gosh, she got so uncomfortable with that. I kind of want to watch that again, because she got so uncomfortable for that. Um, yeah, so they never cut. So there's all that footage that Friedman hinted towards, or not hinted, saying that they don't want to release it. Ideally, they won't have to release it all, because it would make her look really bad. And so this inside source says that she might not understand how much footage they actually have, um, or understand what that means, that footage means. Because remember how Jersey said, like, it's weird that she didn't get her interview with her and Parker Posey confiscated like they usually would, if they think that the star wasn't behaving in the best light. But they didn't do it with that. So they thought, and so you can jump to the conclusion that her team and herself thought that was okay behavior. No big deal. So she might not realize how bad the footage makes her look because she thinks it's no normal behavior, it's justified, it's good, it's no big deal, et cetera, et cetera. So hold on. I wonder if there's a quick like video. Of course not. Oh, I think it's there. Okay. So yeah, so she tried to direct Baldoni and take over the set. Cool. That's at one point. And then meanwhile, Blake would patronize and belittle people and often mock benign things which she found hysterical. She is detached from reality. Like I imagine Barron Trump kind of like that, just because he was so like not shielded. What's the word? Cocooned. Like just very different reality than almost almost all the people on this planet. So because that's what it sounded like. She was saying like just things. This is going to sound stupid, but like, oh, this is a water. You call this a water bottle? I don't know, something like that. You have that phone. You have like an iPhone 14. Like, who has that? Like, what, age are you from? That kind of mocking is what it sounded like they were referring to. People on set had to tell her to take direction and stop interfering. I find that hard to believe, but maybe that's why the ADs got cut. 2 ADs. I think 2 sets of ADs or first and second AD, but they would be in charge of doing that, of keeping the set running and on time and all that stuff. So that's possibly why they got snipped. She felt left out. You're saying, Maria? Yeah. I don't think I don't know. I don't know. I personally don't think she felt left out. I think she made herself feel left out. Um. Oh, you mean regarding Ryan and Taylor? Yeah, if that's what you mean. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm like I think you wrote that earlier, and I'm on to like the on set. I don't think on set she felt left out. But yeah, between her, dragons. That's also I think the idea that she's Khaleesi and they're her dragons because I mean they're more powerful than her, and I think dragons are more powerful than a human being. So I think she got that right. Um, and she doesn't control them. I think that's the insinuation she probably didn't mean, or maybe she did. I don't know. I think it was that text. I don't think that text cost her and Taylor the friendship because I think that could be explained. Um, it could be offensive, but I can also see it not offensive. I could see it ignorant. But I think she did worse, which I think we found out what the worst is. I don't know, allegedly, supposedly, and actually not even allegedly. I mean, Ryan Friedman signed, the notary or whatever, not the notary, the affidavit or whatever. But yeah, so then she leveraged Taylor and Ryan. Um, and she also, and this kind of makes sense, it lines up with other things that the one article where she talked about how much she loves him when he makes things up about their daughter. Most of the time she loves him. And I do think there is something because she's younger. I don't know. I think there could be something where she sees him as like do no wrong, and she could be under that kind of influence with him too. But yeah, she tried to insert herself to get at their level, catch up with them. But yeah, also seeing this is also the insider telling Crystal this Crystal Ball. I don't think Crystal is her name, right? Yeah, it's not. Anyways, that she sees Ryan as only he can do good movies and would be 100% better in her eyes. The movie with Ryan would be 100% better in her eyes. And I think the movie would be literally 100% worse with Ryan Reynolds, because at least like based on who he is and the stuff that he does and writes and says all the time, he would have not taken this movie seriously. He would have not given it the, as people say, gravi or whatever. Um, yeah, it would have become a joke or just fallen flat, not really heartfelt. Um, but who knows? Who knows? Like, I will leave open the possibility that both of them do have a heart somewhere deep down, and Ryan maybe is a good writer. I haven't seen that, but maybe he is, and he's just like really dived into this Deadpool kind of universe and just ruined him. I don't know, as a good writer. She's trying so hard now because she knows once his lawyers expose her, she's done. Yeah, at trial she'll be exposed. Absolutely. So I think, yeah, I don't think it's a PR for us to get tired. I think it's for them to get tired. I think it's for the judge to get tired if she keeps finding these motions, if she keeps like putting things out there. It's like causing just exhaustion and confusion and just inundating things. And she's trying really, really, or her team is trying really, really hard to not get to the trial and for that to be sealed, probably everything to be sealed so we don't see it. But even I think inside, um, she would like, even, yeah, inside, she would probably just want everything to be dismissed. So it's only her words. I mean, basically, what it seems like they want or she wants, based on them trying to invoke that rule, what, 76, 46, whatever that rule is, where like they technically can't retaliate um to her because of whatever. um I think she really just wants to, in her ideal world and her teams and or her teams, they would literally be mute. I think that's what 47.1. Thank you. She would literally be they would sorry, Wayfarer would literally be mute and with their hands behind their backs. They would have zero proof, like everything, like that's what they want. I feel like based on what they're saying, what they're trying to say, what they're trying to file. Um I don't know how common I mean, everyone says, "Oh, it's common to have motions to dismiss," and but like to the extent that she's doing it, I don't know how common it is. It just feels like just just terrible. I don't know. Reddit is saying there's proof against her and at trial it's going to all come out. Yeah. And that's what Crystal Ball was saying. That there's all this footage that the moment that footage is released to at trial, or if it would have been to the public, but it's not going to be to the public, I don't feel like I don't know, ever see it, but definitely not in anticipation to the trial, because that would be that's not okay. Like with what the judge said about the whole affidavit, even, and this is even bigger. So um although it's like evidence, so I don't know, maybe, but I don't think we'll see all the footage or even some of it. But if they make it to trial, or maybe to the judge or whoever, like whoever sees that footage, it seems very clear that there's no question that she was not. Um, she doesn't have much leg to stand on as far as the smear campaign and everything, because like for the smear campaign to happen, it needs to be for a reason. you know she says that it's like the SH stuff, so she needs to prove that SH happened, and she needs to prove that um yeah, and she needs to prove that the smear campaign was related to that, and that what they're trying to prove is that there was no smear campaign, and also whatever they did or they braced themselves to do was merely as a response of her actions. um And that's really, I don't know, I feel like it's already kind of been proven, honestly. But yeah, also text people coming forward, etc. Yeah, we don't know how many people might agree to be called into the positions or subpoenas or whatever that are off the record. I imagine that that's possible. You know, if they're granted, hey, can like you can be anonymous, you can be just attorney's eyes only, you can be, just for the judge and attorneys and stuff, and not for anyone else, but speak, to this, and submit your text or whatever, and people might do it that way too. um I'm curious what Andy's, what does he call it, documentary. I just find it weird to say documentary for these videos. But yeah, like his documentary he's putting together, he says he himself has so many people that are speaking to him from that set. And so, like, I imagine, legally they probably have at least that many people. um so Cristobal says, why did Sony keep caving? And it sounded like they were basically threatened, according to her source at least, or to her research. She wanted to bring her own composer for the PGA credit, allegedly, but she lied that it was Taylor who didn't want the composer. She had like a better reason and not a selfish reason or whatever. And I said, if that's true, think of the consequences to Taylor. As her friend, she gave no, I'm gonna screw this phrase up. Is it rats butts? She gave no rats butts about it. I know it's like the A word, but like still, I don't, right? Yeah, she didn't give a rat's behind, right, about it. About Taylor's reputation that she was potentially ruining by making such a claim. That, that composer or other composers, if this is true, if this is not Taylor, but if this is Blake saying that about Taylor, it could put Taylor in such a bad light. Like, she didn't think of that, if that's, again, if this is true. How the industry will look at Taylor, how she could be shunned, how, producers might not want to work with her. She could get, like, another layer to her reputation. Yeah, it's just horrible. I think I talk about this later. No, I don't have actually too much to go. Yeah, I talk about it later. So yeah, the next 2 points. So that's kind of what happened there. And then she was described on set as manic and barking orders, no clear vision, just like making decisions, no clear vision of why those decisions or whatever. Everything was changing all the time. Doesn't understand how to edit, direct, or produce, which to me is crazy. I think people call it bonkers. Because again, you have all the resources, you have so many people within arm's reach to like shadow, to teach you, to answer questions, or again, just shadow them. Why didn't she I said, why didn't she go to film school? She had all the insiders to teach her, film school or insiders. Then Crystal Ball said she showed her cut at Book Bonanza, it forced Sony to use her cut, or a lot more of her cut, because Sony was forcing her to use his cut because hers was unwatchable. So yeah, basically Sony was more or less threatened, it seems like. And I said, yo, if Taylor Swift is not involved at all, like her sources claim, like Taylor's sources claim that she didn't know about anything, and that one, meeting that she didn't know was happening when she went to visit her friend. If that's true, which we don't know right now, we don't know much of one way or another. And, it could still be true, but then kind of like when people are granted immunity for like, giving information, those I'm thinking of I started watching, like I said, Suits LA. I'm starting to think of that, or police or whatever. Like, hey, if you rat this person out, we'll give you immunity, stuff like that. So it could still be that Taylor had some involvement, but maybe not. But she maybe didn't know what was happening and what it was causing, and she was just helping her friend, and or like it was so minor that Wayfair's like, okay, fine, like this is worse than what you did, so let's focus on this. And maybe they're working together, maybe they're not, maybe everything will like change in the next 24 hours, who knows. But if Taylor wasn't involved and it was just Blake saying that she was involved to everyone, to Isabella, to Justin, to the public, etc., and if Blake actually did threaten her or thought she could, and threaten her to delete the text, it doesn't have to be like, you better delete those texts. Could be, but more so, I think the idea is that she probably more likely sweet talk, tried to like say, hey, like if you don't do this, I could be in trouble. Us feminists need to stick together, kind of thing. Play the victim somehow without being a victim. Um, I said, you do not mess with Taylor. That's the one thing I think the whole world knows. You do not mess with Taylor. Mm-mm. No. So if that's true, if Taylor indeed didn't have anything to do with it, she has a lot coming, Blake. If, it's not like that, it's not like that. If she and I said Taylor may not want to make waves considering her own life now being at the top of the highs. Like she had this stadium tour, all this stuff. And her past, she has also had a lot of accusations of being too litigious. And I even quote her song. I forget the song name, but I love this song actually. And she has a line in it. And I actually am so proud. I didn't even have to look it up. I just actually remembered. They say, I'll sue you if you step on my lawn. That's a lyric that she sings, Taylor Swift. So, and she's been like, that's her reputation, that she doesn't let anyone get away with anything, or even potentially falsifies things or whatever. That's been, how the media has spun things around with Taylor. So it's also possible that she doesn't want to get involved in this because of that, you know? But if she gets in contact, if she is truly threatened or whatever, betrayed by Blake, and or she realizes like, oh crap, well, what did we do? I did not know I was part of this. This was not my intention. Or, oh crap, like now that I see the other side, like it is not what I thought and this is awful. That's possible. And if she gets in contact with Justin's team and sees he's in a good standing to win, that he has a lot of evidence or whatever, she could easily support him, though not in her brand of feminism. So there's so many options that could happen. And maybe, nothing might happen. People still believe that they'll settle. I don't know. I still don't see that. I feel like this is too big, and it is. Blake seems to think she has a strong case, or I don't know, she's fighting for her case. She is not giving up. And Justin's side seems to also think, and they also have everything to lose if they don't prove their innocence, like without a doubt. So I don't see yet what other people see, that this will never make it to trial. I just don't see what she could do. I understand that they're nice people and they have a faith that believes, not speaking wrongly about others, even if they do wrong, etc., etc. But like, I think it's so much bigger than them, that I think they also have that responsibility outside of just them, for the entire Hollywood community. And that is something that Wayfair and Justin and so forth wanted to do. Sarowitz wants to make this world better and give away all his money for the better. They want to create a better world. The Wayfair creating teams, at least. Yeah, you're all saying not anymore, too late. It's definitely going to trial. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like trial, but like, I don't think it's going to settle and go quietly into the night. I think it's going to be definite in however it comes out. You know, the proof, I don't see her. I can see her getting away with things. I can even see the trial going positively for her on technicalities. Doesn't mean it's a truth, but you know, truth isn't everything in law in in trials. But yeah, I just don't see any side having an interest in settling. This is way too strong, and they're way too deep into it. Unless they both beg for forgiveness and pay up, I truly doubt it. Yeah. And that's never going to happen. I don't care who you are. I don't feel like anyone who embarks on this mission and has taken it as far as quickly as far as they took it, even like, you know, a month into it. No. Yeah. I also say, like, as far as Taylor, she's huge. Like, you don't threaten Taylor. Even, you know, like, just that's just craziness. And also the consensus seemingly is that Justin is harmless. Crystal Ball emphasizes the word harmless. Harmless. So yeah, which I feel like is easily seen, but I don't know. Lastly, I just wanted to again, I'll you know, let you know more about the craziness of the files, the things that were filed, and maybe I'll summarize the things that were sealed, so to not put them up on the screen, and because they're sealed, but I do have them. And again, I think Lauren already covered them if you want to watch that. But this is what Perez Hilton said, which is one of my main points of my thumbnail.
She hired ex-CIA PR specialist Shapiro to help her out. And now we have Perez Hilton sharing a source that says they've been contacted, and Blake is begging journalists to speak on her behalf. Have a listen.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'll give it to the ad that it was really great timing.
Very well trusted source, a friend, somebody that I know IRL in real life, just sent me the following message. My friend works in the media. I believe him, and I believe this. Quote, Blake's lawyer is calling up every news department and demanding changes in stories, and even wanting some of the quotes moved up in stories. Pause. They're afraid. They're trying to manipulate and control the media. And this is not uncommon, but I don't think it's an effective strategy.
No. We see this all the time, right? So, like, you know,
not an effective strategy, especially when all of the eyes are on you, and everyone really, I don't know that if maybe they don't get. They might just not get how the situation they're in. They might not get just like, yeah, delusional. What did I say? I don't remember what I said that one time. Like, they're not of this earth or something. Or with Ryan, what did I say? That not that they're aliens. Maybe. I don't know. I have to go back. I don't even remember what it was, what thing was. Yeah. I don't know if he keeps going. Actually, it's funny because I found another video from Perez talking about this.
when people
we
take
love
that
Dave,
bait,
but
and you guys know we're not doing that.
Sadly, they haven't reached out to me because I can't be controlled. And I can think for myself. And my friend said more. They are blowing up right.
Well, it seems like they're targeting like media, not social media. I think they gave up on the social media. I don't think they even think of the social media. I think they just are comfortable pointing out, like, look at all these people, Perez Hilton included. They're crap. They're just biased. They're brainwashed. Blah blah blah. So I think they, like, what can they even do besides silence people on social media, like through, like, get your content copyrighted or strikes or whatever. They're not going to negotiate with you, you know.
Writers saying he's got a list of everyone reporting on this. What? Not quite threats, but definitely overstepping. They're freaking. Whoa. My friend says that they've never seen anything like this before. Okay. F-list Blake hired just a few months ago a new crisis PR expert.
Just, that's a weird way to loop. Anyways, so yeah, I forgot to mention this from Lauren's video because it kind of goes together. Blake trying to stop investigation to her SH sexual harassment claims. Blake refused to give names or to be involved, even though she was asked to be involved. Like, to, you know, counter the counter side, not like on the same side, but yeah, she's refusing to give names of the people that she claims are also, you know, talking about, or like have mentioned to her, or have made supposed complaints or whatever about SH, or just improper behavior or whatever. But she's also trying to just outright stop this investigation, like the cease and desist, like just stop investigating this. If you Wouldn't you want someone else, like, hey, do your work for you? Okay, I take that back. I get that she might say, well, there might be bias, they might be bought, blah blah. I don't listen. Sorry, I was supposed to do all these topics. Oh crap. I had all, oh my gosh, I was too prepared and I didn't do any of them. Darn it. But yeah, if you, now the remaining flag is really weird to have on here. If you, it just sounds like she is either just forcing it or really believes, like, she's a conspiracy theorist and she really believes that people are just out to get her to that extent. I still can't decide. This has been for such a long time a running theme for me. I don't know if she really believes that, you know, she was sexually harassed, or if she was, you know, all these people are against her or whatever. Like, this firm investigating her claims that they're biased and that these people at Wayfair, money or no money, that they just somehow are doing these like crazy schemes behind, like, to smear her or whatever, to cause her harm. I don't know if she truly believes this, excuse me, or she knows it's not true, but she wants her way and she's willing to just do whatever to get her way. I have no idea. No idea. Can't decide. But sorry, it was a long one today. I do need to, like, do this more often and have, but it's just like it adds up. I think Dave, he was talking, he is so like in between, doesn't know how to, you know, devote more time to his real life, because he's on these stories having 2 videos on, you know, a day, and he works so much. It takes hours, guys, to like come up with this. Like, it looks like I make it look so much more realistic that it's not easy because I'm not doing the best job. But like, I think with him, with work with Dave, those last like, 2 hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours. It seems like 2 or 3 hours. I'm pretty sure is that. So like it takes so long to find the stories, to refine the stories. Like with that Pope, I'm like, okay, it's not just like, okay, let me pick this article and talk about it. I personally, at least, eh, and he does it in his own way too. But I definitely like to investigate. Like I'm not gonna take just anyone's word for it. It might still be, false or misleading. But if I have multiple sources telling me the same thing, I feel a lot more comfortable telling you guys something, or like trusted sources. But even like if this is what drives me crazy about other content creators around this and just in general, they don't state their sources, and it's hard to I just don't feel like taking your word for it, no matter who you are. So I want the proof, I want the article, I want something. So yeah, so it takes a while to put these together, and it takes a while to share it, I guess. But yeah, I pretty much it was half of today, like literally, like a literal half of the day that I spent on all of these, putting them together, and it still became a mess when I came on live, and I forgot the little buttons and all that stuff. But yeah, two last things from the Dave Neal, um, I don't even know what to call it, work with Dave video. All American Rejects, check out his video. He talks about it. All American Rejects are going on this tour. I did think like, oh, I don't remember if my ex loved them, but I almost thought of like, oh, I should kind of like tell them, because they are doing this like house tour where they play at people's houses. He doesn't have a house, but I don't know his brother's address because I would send them there because they're kind of into that kind of music. I'm not. Dave was not impressed that I'm not. He was kind of upset that I wasn't, but yeah. But he talked around that topic with us about, I think also when he recorded, share your art and be a part of positive energy. That's what I was talking about earlier. Just just content create. Just create content, whether it's videos, whether it's art, whether it's you make cans, you make t-shirts, you make embroidery, I don't think you're here anymore, but you crochet, like just make things, create and share it. And I love that he emphasized the sharing part because we need more positive energy. We cannot be overtaken by the negative energy. So it needs to be shared. It's not enough for us to just do it in our private moment. Um, just whatever that means to you, just do it. Whatever you feel comfortable to share publicly for the positive energy. Even things like, I mean, the creative for sure, things like that, public, mass public, but even like holding the door open for people, things like that. I think that's also something I get definitely humbled or just moved by certain people who do things like that recently that I noticed like, oh, wow, that was really nice of them to do. Just random things like that. Um, holding doors or whatever it is. So that's one. And then the other part is he was having a very rough day and very emotional day. And then he had to turn on for the camera. And I don't know if this is what he meant, but I've had this thought and I feel like it's worth speaking to. Kind of the calling it kind of psychotic to like be all of a sudden like, oh, and here we are and happy, which he wasn't even, but like that. Even though like one moment you're really sad or really struggling or really angry or just bummed or whatever, very opposite. And I thought, not too long, but I had already thought about this stuff, and in my opinion, that's just being human, and I think that's the resilience and flexibility of humans and human emotion. You want to be that flexible. I think we talk a lot more in Meisner about this, ideally more than we do. But the emotional prepping that we do in Meisner, it kind of creates that flexibility. And the instructor, the owner, she talks about put like music. She says classical music. To me, classical music doesn't emotionally move me at all, but put classical music on and let yourself be affected, be sad, or whatever it takes you, and then put the same song or whatever, same part, and force yourself to not feel anything, and then put it again and then feel everything, and then put it again and not feel anything. And I think that's a wonderful thing to learn, not to be psychotic as he called it, or to like, not just him. I'm really not singling him out. I hear this all the time. But not to like be manipulative or anything like that, but just to be resilient, because we go through very difficult times, and it is not about not acknowledging the difficult times, but also being able to a feel, because I think we struggle more to feel and to show emotion than not. So have access to that, regain access to that, and b be able to like also get things done. Like if in a moment of crisis you don't want to be stuck in feeling, if the ship is going down, you want to be able to like shut down emotion and act and then feel the emotion afterwards or whatever. So like having that flexibility. Someone recently was talking about that as far as like diet. You do not want to be in a calorie deficit or whatever forever. You want to actually go up and down throughout the week and teach your body to be flexible, to adjust. Oh, I ate more today, I'm gonna burn more. I ate less today, I'm gonna burn less. And not be like, oh, we ate less, famine mode on. We ate more, whatever. I don't know. So like the hormones can fluctuate just healthily like that. And it made me think, and those two kind of went together. So yeah, flexibility is like huge, and being human is huge in my opinion. So anyways, thank you guys. I'm so sorry. I did it again. I did it again. Did it again. I am also going to include in the link below in case you wanted to watch it and reminisce over it, because you know it's been a while. I'm going to also include the link for this wonderful video to remember. Like maybe we'll see it differently with new eyes after however 3 months. And I'm not saying in her favor. I'm saying like maybe we'll see it differently. But other than that, I wanted to see, sorry. Oh, gosh darn it. I wanted something that didn't have these, like, little buttons, but, anyways. Maybe this one? Well, I'll end on this one. Thank you for being here. I hope I put some of you to sleep. I'm not gonna lie. I love our interactions on the chat, but part of my goal, I would love to help people go to sleep, because I struggle with going to sleep. After these lives, I am so wired that it's really hard to go to sleep. And so, yeah, I could talk for hours. Once I'm like turned on to talking mode, it's really hard to stop. Talk about the flexibility. I need to work on that. But I'm putting my dog to sleep. Oh my gosh, those phrases in English do not mean the same thing. She's sleeping really peacefully. She's kind of snoring almost. She doesn't snore, so that's good. But yeah, she's really, I don't know if she's happy hearing me in the background, but yeah. Have a wonderful night, guys. Peace, love, and compassion. And I'll see you. I probably will just make a video quickly about, or just like a quick video or something. I don't know about the lawsuit things. I don't know. If not, if I don't see you live before Friday, I'll see you Friday. And yeah. Good night. Good night, Arnaldo, Maria, Angel, Maria, all the Marias. I love that there's like 2 of you. But yeah. Peace, love, and compassion. Good night. And I don't know where the scene is.